Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's another review, and this time we went back in time to 1962.
That
So we
rhymes.
got Captain Quintano and Craig.
Yay.
Justice for Quarrel. Who was Quarrel again? Was that the Jamaican guy?
Allegedly Jamaican guy with the black
Allegedly, yeah.
the red shirt.
Way to cover yourself, Craig.
Allegedly.
He didn't
Actually,
change
cover
shirts
for
throughout
me.
the whole course of this movie, did he?
Yeah. So we did Dr. No. This is the very first James. I think it's the very first James Bond
It's
movie.
the very
It's
first
the
James
first
Bond
one that's like official, you know?
Yeah. It's the first one.
So, and this was. I'm actually very curious. I'm very excited to hear what Captain Quintano made of this because I know it's very rare that he's seen a movie prior to 1991.
Fair.
Because
Fair point.
he's the youngin in the group.
I mean, 90s,
So-
80s.
Well, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. So Dr. No, 1962. I'm going to speed through some of the statistics here. It's directed by Terrence Young, screenplay by Richard Maybaum, Johanna Harwood, and Berkeley Mather. And it's based on Dr. No by Ian Fleming. I don't know about you guys, I have never read a James Bond novel. Not once. I've just seen pretty much all the movies. Some of them a lot more than others. But anyway, I feel
I
like
have not read any James. I didn't know that James Bond even had a book to like be based off of until I did a little bit of research into this movie.
yeah, they were originally books, and some people swear that they're very very good. But yeah, anyway, maybe someday I'll read one. But this was produced by Harry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli, who I believe his daughter is like one of the main for today's James Bond movies. Albert Broccoli's daughter is like the one who's like in charge of most of the James Bond
Yeah.
stuff these days.
Nepotism.
Her name is Brussels sprout, which is crazy.
Brussels sprout broccoli. Okay.
Well, so I get, hey, if she did like the most recent Bonds, like some of them are pretty good, so she must be doing a couple things right. But
For sure.
anyway, cast Sean Connery, fucking Sean Connery,
Sean Connery.
all the way from Scotland.
Yeah,
Is he Scottish?
Oh yeah,
Oh
Oh,
wow,
oh yeah.
uncultured swine over here.
strike one. Strike one there.
Strike
Could
one.
you not
get
tell
to you
by
get
who-
to strike you get to strike three, and Craig's head is gonna explode.
Let's get to strike 30.
Oh man,
Oh,
I was dude. I was dying laughing. I was editing a video yesterday that's coming out next week on the channel, and at the very end of it, it was Kano from Mortal Kombat, and Quentin, you were saying something about his accent, and Craig goes, "Whatever offensive thing you were about to say, just don't."
Oh, yeah.
I was dying, and I ended it on
I
that.
had it locked and loaded too.
Looking forward to
so-
that one.
Sean Connery, Ursula Andress,
Oh,
who was the seashell lady. Honey, that was her name.
Honey Rider.
Honey.
This is
Honey
the start
Rider.
the start
Man,
of
what a porn star name. Good
yeah,
lord.
it's the
Right.
start of a tradition of many a porn star name for James Bond female characters. Plenty O'Toole, named after your father, perhaps. You know,
Hello, Porsche. Jack Lord, Joseph Wiseman, Anthony Dawson, Zena Marshall, John Kitzmiller, Eunice Gayson, and Bernard Lee. Cinematography is by Ted Moore, edited by Peter R. Hunt, music by Monty Norman. So I guess he's the one that created the James Bond theme.
there was quite a bit of discourse on that about who actually it was ripped off of something else. But weirdly enough, it was something. The song was "Good Something, Bad Something" that they apparently ripped it off of. Ironically, but they both got. I think they both got credit on this. But moving forward, Monty got the credits for the song. But the guy who played it on guitar, not to tangent too much, very immediately, but the guy who played it was on Pawn Stars, the pawn shop show.
Pawn
Sorry.
Stars?
I'm sorry. I thought
It's an American thing.
it was the accent that threw me off. We thought you said porn stars.
It's the same
Well,
word.
no, James Bond was on Porn Stars.
No, he took the guitar in saying this is what it was played on, and like to get an evaluation on it. I think he sold it as well.
Wow.
But yeah, this British session guy. But so I don't know if he created it and then just played it, or he just played the sheet music. But yeah, I do not know. Yeah, sorry to derail you, but yeah, it's out there. It's worth it. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, music by Monty Norman, distributed by United Artists. The release date was October 5th, 1962. I believe airing in the UK first.
Yes.
Since it is James Bond.
That's
it's only appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only right.
Yeah. Running time 109 minutes. Budget was $1.1 million, and the box office return was $59.5 million. I think a quick pause on those numbers for a second, just to put it in perspective. They made almost 60 times what the budget was. So 1.1, it's not like today where like $150 million movie makes like $1 billion, and that's nowhere close to the return in terms of
you've also got to think
that this one gets back.
Think of the inflation as well.
That's what I was
1962 money.
Yes.
Damn, that
is just a lot of cheddar. All right, so yeah, they basically made like 60 times and what the budget was, and it became a phenomenon. I was surprised to see in the notes here that Dr. No had a mixed reception upon release. That was probably the United States, though.
As far as I was aware, it was well received.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 60 million in 1962 would equate to 631 million in 2025 So just to put that
that's
into
like 10 million.
It's
like 10 million. That's crazy.
Wow.
Would you guys like to hear some? When you release a film overseas, it might get a different name in the local language.
Interesting.
Okay. So I didn't put the countries. I got Agent 007 License to Kill, 007 Kill Dr. No, 007 First Dr. No, Agent 007 versus the Satanic Dr. No, 007 Lee sees the secret island, and Japan, which is I've seen a bunch of these from Japan. Japan, we don't want doctors.
No way. What?
That's what it was called. That's what the translation was from Japan.
We don't want doctors.
Yeah.
So what? Was
Japan is such a strange country, man.
That's
I'm
crazy.
dying to go though. I can't. I would love to go to Japan.
That's like my
me and the
bucket
wifey
list.
just started planning a trip to Japan this week. No joke.
Really?
That is my number one. If I won the lottery, it'd be there, and I'd just be doing a food tour. That'd be
Well,
mm-hmm.
I was talking to my buddy, the sushi, like from 7-Eleven. Like you go to 7-Eleven, you get like ungodly, fantastic meals from 7-Eleven. It's like an actual. I don't know how to describe it.
In Japan, you mean?
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the
here you
7-Elevens.
eat anything from 7-Eleven, you're shitting blue for a week.
Sorry, derailed, but I just thought those film titles were just.
No, that was great. I had no idea. But to be fair, I kind of rushed this, so I didn't really have. I didn't write a lot of stuff down. All the stuff that I written down is gone. So to hear that was perfect. I was gonna guess that the one from Spain was El Doctor No.
El Doctor No.
I think one of them was Italians, but I know obviously I'm not. I know they're different, but yeah, like the Satanic Doctor No.
Yeah, what?
That
was that the Italian one?
I didn't write them down, mate. I just remembered the Japanese one. We don't want doctors.
I feel like Italy had like a big film industry back then.
They did. It was because it was all the spaghetti westerns. There was a lot of that done. A lot of people would just go in there making films on cheap. So
yeah,
in the 60s and 70s.
All right. Well, Dr. No 1962. This was Sean Connery's first run as James Bond. And I had my personal experience with this is I mean, I've seen them all, but there's some that I have seen, some James Bond films where I've seen them so many times, and some of them where I've seen them a few times or maybe even once. And to my shame, I feel like Dr. No I'd only seen about 3 times. And it's been since I was probably a teenager since I watched this one. The Sean Connery Bond films, my two favorites were always From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. Those two I have seen way too many times, probably. But Dr. No, it was an experience. There was some I found myself throughout this film half the time I was like, man, I wish they would bring these kind of elements of James Bond back. And then the other half was like, man, I'm very glad those days are over. It's kind of like a mixed bag watching this James Bond film.
Did it get more goofy as time went on? Because like when I think James Bond growing up, I thought like ridiculous gadgets, that kind of stuff. But in this movie, they didn't really have any of those like, crazy gadgets. It was just
James Bond. Anything with Roger Moore.
He gave me the spy vibes, but he literally I felt more detective from him in this movie than I got spy, which I was cool with because it felt more of like a James Bond origin as opposed to the James Bond Daniel Craig that I was used to, which is like he's a spy. There's many different 007s. Like it was just nice to know this James Bond, and it felt just old and cool, and it was dope, man. So did it get more goofy as it went on?
Oh, God, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Anything with Roger Moore in. There's a Roger Moore film. He puts he has a little breathing capsule for breathing apparatus, like an oxygen capsule or something.
For like
puts it in the guy's mouth, punches in the mouth. I can't remember the exact thing. And the guy just blows up and then floats in the air into something in the ceiling. And
no shot.
Oh, that's in my favorite Roger Moore film, Live and Let Die. Yeah.
Yeah, is that Live and Let Die? Is it?
Oh, that scene is so funny though for all the wrong reasons.
And just inflates and just raises up in the sky.
It sounds like something out of Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah, do you know what?
That's a good shout out.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
I know we don't do this that much, but guys who were lined up to play to play James Bond, we had Cary Grant was in the running. Richard Mason, who was a British actor. Roger Moore was actually auditioned, but he looked too young. Ian Fleming thought Sean Connery looked, Brian, you'll appreciate this, too much of a hooligan.
I think he was just hearing you say that, I think he was like, he's fucking Scottish. I don't know if I can...
do you know what? That's just fucking... Do you know what? You're probably bang on the money with that.
I think he was like, man, I mean, he's good, but I really don't want to cast a
Scottish guy. But at the end of it...
No offense, Scotland. I'm just trying to think of how an Englishman would fit.
That's too fucking funny.
Dude, if you ever watch a hooligan film, you will understand why me and Brian are laughing. It is fucking ridiculous.
I was just thinking in the general sense hooligan, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny, but there's a hooligan
British hooligans are different. We're built differently.
Speaking of Sean Connery and the Scottish, am I the only one who, watching back this film, was thinking like, man, it would be awesome if we had a Scottish James Bond again? Because this is... I
didn't get Scottish from him at all in this movie.
What? Well, Craig is like, please edit that out. He just doesn't have. Craig doesn't have the ear. He's not in tune with our brethren across the Atlantic yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, wee laddie. My name's 007, James Bond.
He didn't say that.
To be fair, I mean, dude, it's even in Scotland. Scotland has so many different accents of their own. So like some are like very light. Like, I'm thinking. Have you ever watched Critical Drinker?
Yeah, you've actually pointed me to a couple of his videos.
Yeah, he's Scottish, but I feel like his accent is like light.
Yeah.
Because if a Scottish accent is very thick, I have trouble understanding what they're saying sometimes. And but Critical Drinker is one where like it's like barely there, you know.
Indistinguishably, it's Scottish. It's the second you hear him
Yeah,
speak.
but
To me, it's like, oh, it's
I don't know. I guess I don't have the ear for the Scottish voice, man.
Well, there's not a lot of Scottish media out there.
Fair. Good point.
How old do you guys think Sean Connery was in this?
I would guess 35. He looked
38.
like
Really?
38.
yeah,
Is he younger?
What? If you told me he was 45, I'd have believed you. Because he's the only Scottish person I've ever seen with the suntan.
How old? How old?
How old was he?
He's 32.
32.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude, man, people back then they looked weathered by the time they were 30.
Yeah, like he had been through some shit.
He's been through some whiskey, man.
I mean, it's not like he looks bad. He looks good. It's a very handsome man.
Super.
He looks great.
But you can also tell that he was a dog.
I would have said late 30s.
He was a dog, man.
Well, he used to be a model. He probably was. I think he did bodybuilding. Like, this is obviously
Bodybuilding.
late 50s body.
Yeah,
you know.
but still. I
We're
don't know,
talking
man.
big
I'll tell
anabolic.
you one thing though. Best chest hair of all time.
Damn sight better than mine.
That's what?
Best chest
Chest hair.
hair of all time. It's like
I-
perfectly proportioned on his body. Like nobody gets that.
Was it Brian? How were his nipples, Brian?
Oh, they were sweet.
Apparently, he also there's some debate about this whether he had a hairpiece on because he apparently started going bald when he was 17, or whether he
Really?
had
When he was 17. Wait, stop. 17? Imagine that. You're starting to lose your hair before you're even out of fucking high school.
Dude, I knew this guy at my school. He was going. Wasn't like just the weather top. It was the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
when he's like 16 to 17, the whole thing.
Okay.
I've never
Yeah.
known him to have hair.
Got
So,
dealt a terrible
He
hand.
started wearing toupees in his later Bond films, such as Goldfinger in 1964.
That's 2 years after this,
And
mate.
then in The Hunt of Red October, Connery wore a complete wig.
But
That's a good movie.
like, his hair, weirdly, I found that after rewatching it the first time, and I thought, like, I always thought, God damn, his hair looks great. Just like, watching it all through, just doing that slick back. Like, everyone's got the hair on this film is amazing. Everyone's got like really put the effort in with the hair.
Yeah, even Honey, when she suddenly appears later in the film with her hair just completely redone. And
Oh
fresh
god, it's all
makeup on.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that took hours.
Like one scene, she kind of like she still looks great, but then the next scene, she's just completely done up, and I'm like, oh, that was a totally not smooth transition. But then again, a movie in 1963, you know,
Yeah,
women like that were in movies to be for that purpose. You know what I mean?
they were very much eye candy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think all of them were, but that was the purpose of the film because it's a James Bond film. Everyone, all the women are, even the receptionist when she looks them up and down.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though. She did get feisty. She did do a little bit of fighting, a little bit, just a smidge.
With what? Her
but-
vagina?
No, Ursula and Honey Rider.
Yeah, when by the dragon where they get captured.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think she like punched somebody later when she's when they're in Dr. No's lair somewhere.
I had a problem with James Bond not fighting in particular parts of this movie, but we'll get there.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
There's some
We'll
parts
get to
where
some scenes in a
yeah.
couple minutes. Because we've both seen James Bond films. How about was it Joseph Wiseman who played Dr. No? Who was the Dr. No? Yeah.
got it.
Like when you get
Yeah, Joseph Wiseman, Julius
Okay.
Snow.
yeah, Julie. I was going to say because I knew it began with J in the film. J no, but
Yeah.
so getting a bit tripped up there. Sorry.
Man, what a fucking creepy villain he was.
They did such a good job.
Great voice.
Fantastic voice. The suspense of like not showing the character's face, and this may just be a Bond trait. I'm sure there's other movies that do it, but whenever I think about Bond, there's always like that villain. I feel like you don't really see much of the villain until you get towards the end of the movies, at least with the Bond films that I've seen. But I love the suspense building up to his character. You know, that room when Buddy's in the room and then there's the spider on the table and you just see the shadow with that fucking voice and you're just like, who is this guy? He's got a great voice. He sounds menacing.
Chilling.
Oh my god, chilling. Perfect. Yeah.
Great villain. You were talking about how they kind of keep the villain out of the film for the first half of the movie,
Yeah.
and then bring him into the second half. I feel like half of the Bond movies do that, but it's not standard. Goldfinger was in pretty much the entire movie, almost all the way. Of course, Sean Bean as 006. He was in most of. Well, he was in the beginning, and then he was missing for about 45 minutes, and then came back. But yeah, there's. I think Scaramanga.
Scaramanga, yeah.
He was in most of the movie, I think, for the man with the golden gun. So it's not standard, but
I haven't. This is
half the time I feel like you're right.
Scaramanga.
This is the first old James Bond movie I've ever seen. The only other James Bond movies I have ever seen has been Daniel Craig's. That is it. And then I grew up playing a little bit of GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
And then there was a PlayStation 2 game that like we all played split screen on me, my friends, my brothers. That was like just you get in there and you guys just kill each other, and we could play that shit for hours. I gotta find the name at some point, but
that was our generation's GoldenEye. Just split screen, 4-player. Oh, that game was just the gift that kept giving.
Oh yeah, that was revolutionary. You never saw anything like that with games before.
Not a console.
Yeah, but I'd like the movie before the game even came out. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite Bond movie of all time.
Is
GoldenEye. Okay.
No, GoldenEye was the first one where I went, I'm really into this. These old 007 films, they used to be shown on like Saturday afternoons in the UK. So this is like we have 4 channels unless you had
no shit.
So the whole country would see it. It would be on Saturday afternoon. They'd put like a James Bond on. Yeah. So like the old Roger Moore, you know, where he's in the car, he's about to do the big jump over the river. Boy, you're not thinking what I think you're gonna do. I sure am, boy. And he jumps over the river.
Yeah.
Like,
was this Sean Connery's like breakout film, or was he in movies before this?
He did a Disney film before this. I know he did a Disney film before this. Can't remember what it was. It was a Disney produced film, and so he was noticed from that. But his filmography before this, I think he was just basically a model, essentially.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Yes.
In the Little People.
Mate, it was the 50s or 60s or early 60s. What do you want?
If there was a world before Sean Connery became James Bond, nobody remembers it.
Heard that. Except
nobody
for Craig,
remembers
apparently.
it.
Craig remembers.
I don't.
Nah, you probably just looked it up.
I saw it in research.
Yeah, so
fair. Okay, yeah, all right, that's fair.
Because if anybody's saying like, "Oh yeah, I remember him from this," that they're fucking lying to you.
It's so weird though, because like there was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was like the only Sean Connery film that I knew growing up, and like young Sean Connery looks drastically different than old Sean Connery. Like I couldn't picture it. Like I was like, wait a minute, that's Sean Connery. That's insane to me.
The irony of that is that's the film that made him retire. It was that shit.
Yeah, I love that movie because I was a kid. I mean, that was like right up that fucking Van Helsing type movie that I adored.
Yeah, it was along this. Yeah, it's not too far adjacent.
Vampires, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They're both in it, you know.
Yeah,
but We can get back to the film. I get segued.
Yes.
That's okay.
No,
Let's see here.
Those were good segues. Those good.
Let's see here. So you guys want to go into
could
some scenes here? I feel like
Yeah.
Quentin wants to talk about some scenes.
I want to
do.
talk. I initially just want to talk about the intro. That intro was a fucking acid trip.
That
Talk about with the
had
the actual
1962
intro.
written all over it.
Yeah, it really did. And then it just, there's no seamlessness to it. It just goes to three blind.
Yeah.
Three
That
blind
actually
Jamaican
threw me off a little bit because I forgot about the three blind mice.
Oh, did something skip it? What happened?
I'll tell you what else caught me off guard is actually watching James Bond introduction credits, and I'm hearing the actual James Bond theme for about a minute and a half. Yeah, because you never see that anymore. It's always a
Pop singer.
I
yeah.
could have used more of that in this film, more of the James Bond theme. Maybe
It comes up, the guitar thing comes up a good few times.
it does, but
I-
I felt like every time you hear it, like I felt like they could have played it more interesting scenes than they did. But at the same time, they didn't really know how big of a hit that song was going to be, so it's not like they could
How
like,
iconic. Yeah.
fall onto that. You know, Mortal Kombat already had the music from the video games, so they're like, all right, we got to play this shit at these moments. You know.
I'll tell you how iconic it is, because no matter how many times they recast Bond or go in a different direction with the way the movies are made, or just straight up rebooting the whole thing like they did with Daniel Craig's James Bond, what's the one constant thing?
The music.
The fucking theme song. They keep the theme song no matter what, and good for them, because it's that
It's
iconic.
iconic.
Yeah.
It's what,
It really
26
is.
films now? 25. It's 25 or 26.
I think you're right.
Something-
26.
Something that's so cool about the music and the James Bond franchise itself is it's such an honor to be asked to write a song for a James Bond movie. So like now they'll do an intro, you know, they have the theme, but sometimes they'll do lyrics over it and shit like that, especially in these newer Daniel Craig movies. But like I believe they asked, you know, Adele for Skyfall,
Yeah, Adele,
Sam
that
Smith
was
for Writing
so
on the Wall,
heavily-
Billie Eilish, No Time to Die. Like
And I feel like they all won
yeah,
Grammys or
Oh, yeah.
Oscars or whatever
they won
that they're
something.
nominated
100%.
for.
Like all three of those songs are fucking incredible. But I just imagine, like, I mean, being asked as an artist, like, yeah, we want you to do a James Bond song. Like, especially Adele, because she's where's Adele from? You probably know better than me.
Yeah, she's. I think she's got at least a Welsh dad, but she's like from London. She's proper savage, you know, working class Southern girl.
Yeah.
But that was such a big thing that it's like, come on, you've got to give it to Adele.
Right.
It was kind of like the general national vibe. Adele's got to do this, and that is such a fucking good Bond song. That is right
Great
up there
song.
with all of them.
That's my favorite one.
That's fantastic.
When they said Billie Eilish, I just went, well,
She
I didn't
killed it.
really-
She did great.
Dude, I didn't really care about the film, and I cared even less when she was announced. I just don't.
Did you not? Do you like the song itself or no?
Billie
Not a
Eilish
fan?
just isn't. She's not for me. I just don't
Interesting.
get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, like the whispery.
He's going on a boomer rant right now.
Yeah, it's fucking boomer for
I
sure.
said it's not for me. If you like it, yeah. If you like it, you like it.
I don't know. You might lose the title of King Boomer over here, Brian.
No, I'm not even
No,
a fan
no.
of Billie Eilish, but I remember hearing the song in the theater, and I thought it was great.
Yeah. And
Well, if I saw it in the theater-
I like
speaks to
Sam
it.
Smith's song too. It's
Writing on the Walls.
The thing is, though, like I get why people don't like those songs for a James Bond movie, but
There's nothing about either.
I
James
understood
Bond
why
movie,
they went that way with the they did with those songs.
Because
Daniel Craig Bonds were much more had a lot more emotional weight to them.
Because
than,
it's like, all right, so
prior
you got Christopher
James
Nolan's
Bonds.
Batman, you have Tim Burton's Batman, you got, you know, Sean Connery's James Bond, you got Daniel Craig. They're completely different vibes. And then there's probably some middle James Bonds that I don't know the names of that were a lot goofier. There's
dude,
different vibes. Whenever sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, because it wasn't the intro. I was going to say "View to a Kill" by Duran Duran, but that wasn't the intro song.
Gotcha. But
But the classic James Adele is completely in line with the classic James Bond's intros, like all the Shirley Bassies. They're fucking great.
I'm gonna
And
watch
I think-
this week. I can see myself at the very least. I'm gonna watch through the Sean Connery ones, just because of how much I did enjoy watching this film. I'm gonna go in. I mean, I hope that there's not a miss in there. If there is, it's cool because there's definitely some in Daniel Craig's Bond.
Every
Bond
one of them's
movies.
got a miss except for maybe
Timothy
Lazenby
Dalton.
because he only did
Only
one.
in one.
Yeah,
Fair.
and a lot of people love his.
Why
one.
did he only get one
but-
movie?
He's Australian, probably.
What are they? So they got a Scottish guy and an Australian guy. They're talking about Idris Elba for the
there's not been one English Bond.
I think they're talking about
Except-
Idris.
What about Roger Moore?
No, I don't think he's English.
I'll look
He
it
has
up.
to be.
Please
And I'm
check
pretty
that.
sure Daniel Craig's English too.
Yeah, except Daniel Craig.
Roger Moore is an English actor and producer. Yeah.
Is he?
He was born in Stockwell, London on October 14th,
Fuck.
1927.
Yeah,
For some reason,
'cause-
I had it in my head that it was only Daniel Craig.
no,
'cause,
because you got Sean Connery, who's from
Pierce
Scotland.
is Ireland.
Pierce is Ireland, even though he grew up in England, but
Yeah.
it still counts. And then Lazenby is Australian.
Brilliant.
Um,
And Timothy Dalton.
Dalton. Where's he from?
Who?
Timothy Dalton.
I feel like he's English, but I could be wrong.
God, I hope I'm
British.
just lost
He's
all my-
British.
No, but which British?
Yeah, but which country?
I
I feel like we're correcting Quentin a lot.
don't know too much about the UK. I'm learning from Craig. He was born in Colwyn Bay, United Kingdom.
Colwyn Bay. That's
North Wales. North
Wales. I was, dude, in the back of my head, I was like, why do I want to say Wales?
Yeah,
So-
because of the C's and the L's. That's why.
So now all you need is a Bond from Northern Ireland, and you've completed the set.
So
yeah.
before
Sean,
we get into
well,
some
Sean,
scenes,
no, Sean. What the fuck did I say? Sean Bean from? He's from fucking Sheffield.
Well, actually, hold on,
what the
because
fuck am I talking about?
is Pierce Brosnan from Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland? Because that would complete the set.
I think
You're asking-
Pierce.
give me the name again.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, we gotta know.
Irish actor.
What town is he from?
Oh shit! Here we go. Droghilda, Ireland. I don't know why I said it with the Transylvanian accent. Droghilda. Drogheda.
Okay, is it in Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland?
That sounds Republic. Sounds Republic, but fuck it up. I
County
just said-
North Ireland. Country Louth.
County. That'll be
Oh.
county.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's Republic. But
You
I'll
never
say-
know, though. Let me see if I can dig this up.
I'm sorry. I'm a
I'll
bad
do
researcher.
well this so badly.
It's
well, while we're-
27 miles north of Dublin, so yes. It's
Oh,
in there.
it's southern. Yeah, it's
So we need a Bond from Northern Ireland to complete the set.
Northern Ireland. So
Yeah.
that brings to the next question that I have for you guys. So there's a couple different casting choices that have been rumored over the past year or two for the next James Bond. There is the Disney style of doing things where they're thinking about doing Anya Taylor-Joy, who I love as an actress, but I feel like by casting, and this is nothing against that, it's just James Bond is James Bond. He is a man who's,
Well,
who's
the name
Didn't
is
they
Jay.
already do this with Mad Max?
yeah, with Furiosa.
Furiosa.
That's hysterical.
and it was yeah.
So that is one rumor. The other
And
one
that was
is
Anya.
Idris Elba. That
You know
people
what? I'm
want.
not.
No,
actually
it's not going to
against
be
that.
Idris Elba. I'll tell you why. Because
He's
it's
too old.
been rumored it's going to be Idris Elba for 20 years, and now he's
For
too
20
old.
years.
Yeah, it's like
He
the
is
past
old
20
now.
years, everybody's like, "Oh, make Idris Elba a Bond." Which, hey, if Idris Elba was like mid-30s, I
He'd be
would be
fine.
I would be down for it.
I wouldn't be against it in the slightest. Obviously, James Bond, much like Snow White, that's
Yeah.
coming out next month, which we can't wait to watch. Yeah, Idris Elba's a black guy. Do you know what? I am not against it in the slightest because
I'm not.
it fucking.
I think he would be
I could
cool,
see that
man.
would.
I think he
work.
would be great. He's just too
He'd be
old.
Yeah,
piping.
he's cool as fuck. He's good. He just works.
Aaron
He fits
Taylor
that mold.
Johnson is another.
Aaron Taylor
weird
Johnson,
one,
yeah.
which I could see, but
After Craven the Hunter, please God no.
well, I don't.
Please, God, no.
He was also just in Nosferatu, that did insanely well, and I am obsessed with that movie. That's one of the most beautifully filmed movies I've ever seen in my life. The shots in that movie will make you cream. It's insane.
I mean, the shots are probably beautiful. Yeah,
They're gorgeous. The
Is that-
story's great. The horror
Horror
element.
is not my thing, though.
We're gonna do a horror.
It's
film
tough to get me to
eventually
like
on
a
here.
horror movie. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Lily Rose Depp, Johnny. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
If you want to
Right,
see Lily Rose Depp, watch a couple episodes of what's that show that was on HBO for one season. It was recent too.
Euphoria.
No, she was like a pop star. No, it was the same people that made Euphoria though.
Oh, that where she's
The Weekend with the Weekend.
Yeah.
yeah, where
remember-
she's like a star. Or
was that her? The one who
Yes.
was like getting fucked by the yoga trainer guy, and then the Weekend came up and smacked him in the face.
No, the Weekend was fucking her.
it
Yeah,
in,
he was.
in his
But
house
then there
or
was some
something.
guy that was like teaching her, like her personal trainer, and he was mad flirtatious. So the Weekend came up, smacked him in his shit, and then made Lily Rose Depp fire him. I just know
Oh,
that
I don't know.
one
I don't
scene
think I
from
got that
show.
far. I watched like 3 episodes,
Okay.
and I was like, "This is like," because every scene it had somebody like jerking off.
Yeah. What's the name of the show?
I only know of it because I saw that many videos of it just shitting on that fucking show. Like
Yeah,
how
was it
bad
bad?
it was.
It was bad. It was
Okay.
bad.
I
But the
didn't
first
even hear
couple
of it.
episodes, I do remember Lily Rose Depp being like naked a lot. So-
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, so Dr. Quentin, you want a scene we can go over here?
Yeah.
Pick us a
One that
scene.
me and Craig actually talked a little bit off camera, but there is a very weird cut in the movie that I don't know, Craig didn't notice it, but I had him go back and check it out. But
Yeah.
it's when in the intro scene when the three can't say that. The
It's
three blind
when-
mice, they were breaking into the girl's thing, and then they were going to shoot her and steal some shit out of there. It was an
So
office.
his secretary when she's contacting
secretary,
MI6.
So what ends up happening is when he smashes the window open, points the gun at her. For whatever reason, the director, no one caught this, but the scene does this weird jump where the frame, it's like the director yelled cut, and then they picked it up, and it just wasn't a smooth transition. You could tell. I don't know. How
I
would
I
you
think I know what
notice
you're
that.
talking about. Yeah.
But they he shoots her, and I thought when he showed me it, I thought, well, no, you're missing the gun. Because I saw it. I thought I saw it.
Do you want to
Oh,
hear
no.
my theory? I have a theory about this because there's a couple other scenes in this movie where the cuts look a little off, like they were rushing to get this done. And there's another one in the exact same room, but it's later in the movie when James Bond investigates that room. He's lifting I think he's holding a drink or something, and then you see in an instant his other arm moves a little bit, and it's because they did a cut from a different scene in the middle of a scene to make it look like there was no cut, and it was very
That's
sloppy.
Exactly what I'm talking about with that. I've watched it over, but I just caught it on the first time when I watched it, and it was oh boy, this is how the movie is going to be. That's what I thought. And then to my surprise, we'll get to review at the end.
Filmmaking has improved a lot since then, so that's
Wow.
I'm giving it a pass as to
Debatable.
that.
Debatable.
Back in the day, though,
This
they
movie-
were cutting the tape with razors
Yeah.
and sticking it together to run it through.
Even though you
we're
just
talking
said
that cut level of technology.
That's
this
true.
film was one of the freshest movie experiences that I've had in a very long time.
Good.
Even
Glad to hear that.
Even though filmmaking may have improved on some aspects, storytelling has not. It's
But-
so rare to see.
Yeah,
in
storytelling
one
has
movie.
gone down. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But the reason I said that you want to hear my theory is because you mentioned that first opening scene with the three blind mice, and then when they shoot the secretary, and then later on in the same room with James Bond, he hit the weird cut where his arm moves in like an instant. I think that they were shooting in that place that they were shooting in is haunted. Anybody feel the same way? That must be the explanation. It's ghosts. They were messing with the film.
Jamaican ghosts. All right. Okay. Well,
I'm fucking with you both. Come on, man.
I know you are. So I wouldn't fucking do it. I wouldn't put it up with you if you would.
No, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. I'd be some atheist if I'm not believing that and believe in ghosts. That'd be weird. That'd be very hypocritical.
Oh my.
Anyone who believes in ghosts, answer me this. There's like 10% of people who ever lived are on the planet now. So it's like 80 billion people who've ever lived. Where the fuck are they? And where are all the animal ghosts?
Heaven or hell?
No, the ghosts.
Yeah, there's never any animal. There's never any animal ghosts, are there?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a big ghost believer. I think that's whack. I also think, like, I don't know. Like, I just think heaven and hell, bro. That's my theory. I think the ghost thing is just makes for good horror.
I know.
It does.
I kind of just said that. I kind of just said that to have Craig's ears perk up a little bit and see what
you
says.
got a baby.
And I got the reaction I wanted.
You're poking the bear. You're a dick. You're a fucking dick sometimes.
We love you, mate.
I do. I love me. No, I love you too, man. No, that when she gets shot, though, I want to talk about this. Why is your blood orange?
It was a little light. Yeah, it was a little light.
It's like, yo, bitch, you're gonna die anyway soon. Don't worry about it. They probably did you a favor.
Was it orange?
Was it really orange? I thought it was just a really light red.
It just might have been the color grading, but I just thought that doesn't look right.
It definitely didn't look like real blood.
You get squibs, and the blood doesn't look real. But they've tried it with the color. This just was like, there's something inherently wrong with you there, darling. Your bone marrow isn't working.
Oh,
she's not human.
It's just like crazy bright red. I'll just show a still shot of it.
I know. It looks like Crayola red.
Oh, to me, it looked orange, man.
It looks like a kid just found a red Sharpie and had a field day.
Oh, on my TV, it looked orange. Maybe I need new TV. But it just looked orange, man. It looked wrong.
Yeah.
It did, yeah. Even though we thought it was red, it still looked wrong. The shade of red was not right. It was off.
It was like neon red. She had radioactive blood in her system.
She probably
that's my comeback.
She probably did.
Yeah.
He was hanging around those his rock samples too much.
Yeah.
When he brought them back. There you go.
That 3 blind mice, but dude, when they killed her, those cuts were so fast. Like, even if nothing went wrong in those cuts, and like that they were put together as they were supposed to be presented, it still looked like too fast. Like the way they did that, it was just weird. But that's probably why Quentin mentioned that. Like, it looks like it didn't. Yeah. So they messed up or something. Maybe they did. But
you'll go back and you'll see it and you'll be like, yeah, that's
yeah. I want to go back and watch that.
Yes, I saw that. No, but the driving in this film is pretty crazy considering the vehicles at the time. And I was thinking that because when they pick her up, I was thinking that looks weird. The way the two guys pick her body up to put it in the hearse, it just looked. I was thinking, is that how you'd pick a dead body up if you two hitmen? Because they were hanging like
acting all
really
innocent,
low.
Act like you've never picked up a dead body, Craig.
I'm not American. And but also when the
you guys just use different weapons. Come on now.
Yeah, you guys use fucking knives, man.
yeah, you don't die instantly from that.
It probably hurts more too. Like,
because you're still alive.
You're in fucking agony. Oh god, we just
up.
went to a really dark area here. All right, let's move on before we get in trouble.
Well,
fucking alleyway in London.
When the-
dead.
Your first boy
Right.
gets shot. Strange-way. Is it Strange-way? Is it?
What do you mean?
Your first boy, where they're playing cards, and he goes out to his car and he gets shot, and the hearse comes speeding around the corner.
Oh yeah, yes.
So the hearse, like the tires on that car, it's like, how are they sticking to the road? Because the tire technology back then had to have been dog shit. But these cars are going really fast. Drop him in the hearse. The same guy's going to pick her up to put in the hearse. I was thinking throughout this whole film, how did no one die doing the driving stunts in this film? There's some
There's one in particular where I think James Bond, he has that driver take him out of the airport.
Yeah, and he turned right.
Yeah, that turn was holy
Yeah,
shit.
I was.
And it looks so fucking like actually fast. It doesn't look like the camera shot was sped up.
No, it doesn't.
Like
It
their
might have been
bodies,
though.
like-
That's a good point. A good thing to mention though, because in a lot of older movies, they do speed up the frame rate a little bit.
If they did,
look-
they got
really
lucky because it didn't look it at all.
No, it
that
didn't.
Looked, looked like they were booking it.
Looked like they were auditioning for Fast and Furious 40 years too early.
Yeah, Fast and Furious minus 40. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Another
James
40 to
Bond
get
pulls
up to.
when
Guys,
James Bond
2
pulls
seconds.
up to the embassy or whatever that is, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, make sure this guy doesn't move." Dead body. Back
Yeah.
in the car.
Yeah.
It's like just sets the precedent of his character, dude. I loved it.
Dude, speaking of the driving though, just to stay on the driving aspect of the movie a little bit.
Mhm.
There's two more things I want to mention. One of them's bad, one of them's good. Let's start with the bad. And I hate it when movies do this, especially older movies.
Is it the
But
cars
when you have
blowing up?
you have a zoom in of
Yeah.
James Bond driving, and you can tell that the back, he's just in front of a giant screen, and his hands are not doing what the car on the screen is doing, and it just looks so bad.
It's classic though.
But they didn't just do it. It wasn't like one quick shot. Like they would sit on the shot of him driving, and like he's moving the steering wheel to the left, and the fucking the screen is going to the right. It's just awful. And I always hated it when older movies did that. It looks so terrible. But the good thing about the vehicles in the movie was it's 1962, and look at the cars from back then. They're just
So sexy, bro.
so beautiful looking, and they don't make cars like that anymore.
No,
and this
it's
is coming from someone who could give less than a shit about cars. But like I see those cars from back then, and I'm like, man. They really put some time and effort into the cars back then, man.
I don't
They
know if
cleaned
it's
them. They
still
were
like
shiny. Those
Yeah.
cars were shiny, man.
I don't know if it's still like this, but I know like going to Cuba, I remember back in the day, people would say that if you went to Cuba, it was like stepping in a time capsule because they didn't get newer cars. So whenever you'd go to Cuba, there would be those old style of just gorgeous cars. But
I've seen
I don't know. I
pictures
think
Did you just say you went to Cuba, or you just from what you've
I've
heard?
been to Cuba. Just hearing
Okay.
about it growing up.
Oh,
is
no,
like,
I thought you said you went to Cuba as well. To be
Fuck
honest.
Yeah, because
only time
Americans
I've
are
been out
not
of the
allowed
country
to.
was Italy.
Yeah, at least for like a long time, Americans were
Yeah.
not allowed in Cuba.
No, but going there is like going in a time capsule because all of the cars are just so fucking old. I feel like that would be so neat. But sticking on the cars a little bit more, guys. I mean, the James Bond car. I feel like whatever James Bond drives in his movies, once again, just speaking from Daniel Craig, but it seems like the cars are such a big, like they're implemented so heavily in the films on what James Bond drives, whether it be an Aston Martin, whatever it is.
BMW. Yeah,
Does
they
that follow suit with the older James Bond movies too?
well, not this one.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was the first film. I don't know. I can only speak to the modern ones because that's when marketing really picked up, and it would just be marketed very
Cars.
heavily that this is the James Bond car.
Yeah.
So I think in Casino Royale, first Daniel Craig one, it was I think it was a BMW, if memory serves. The one
In,
that
Where you
Casino
had
Royale?
the gizmo in the
Yeah.
car with the medical kit.
yeah, and then it
Yeah.
ends up.
No, that was an
flipping-
Aston Martin.
Wasn't
It
it?
was,
Well,
right?
yeah, I'll tell you
Oh.
what. Pierce Brosnan, most of his
On
movies
yeah,
were
the
BMWs.
blue one. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember the blue one. I knew there was a BMW in there somewhere, but yeah, I remember being really heavily. They just get heavily promoted, because it's just free advertisement. It's like it's a couple of £1 million, but how much does an actual marketing campaign cost? It costs multi-millions of pounds.
Yeah, and you also got to think, James Bond, this guy who gets a lot of ass, saves the day, gets the girls, plural.
Yeah. Well, not nowadays, but
like when a guy is going to look for a new car, the hell do you think he wants to get it?
The guy that gets all the ass gets an Aston Martin.
He gets an Aston Martin.
Yeah, you get an Aston Martin, what DBZ I think it's called.
Aston Martins are gorgeous.
I've never seen one in real life, but
one of my bosses just got a new one, and it is one of the sexiest cars I've ever seen in my life, dude. I'm like, they're gorgeous cars. It's like that Rolls Royce, like
how the fuck is a Yank seen an Aston Martin and I haven't? That is nuts.
Yeah,
dude, actually, I've never seen so many Aston Martins until I moved to Florida.
I've never seen any.
In
it's
Florida,
a hot car down here.
Specifically, certain parts.
And as soon as you see one, you know that they got some money.
Yeah, that Rolls Royce. Like you'll see Rolls Royces.
Those are Rolls Royces.
Every day you see 15 Rolls Royces. It's unbelievable. But it's just like wealthier parts of Florida. Like Lambos are pretty frequent.
That explains it. As Brian said the other week, I'm a northern boy. All the wealth up here, mate. All the wealth.
No, yeah. I'm still shocked by that statistic.
What's the statistic?
If you take, apparently, I don't know if it's true, but I took it for face value when I watched this video. I think he does enough
research for it to be.
Yeah, I'm taking his word for it, but I watched a YouTube video where they explained that if you, like 80% of the GDP in the UK is from London alone. So if you take London out of the UK, then the GDP of the entire United Kingdom would not even equal to Mississippi. So think about that for a second, because that's our poorest state, and it really put things into perspective for me. I was like, oh my god,
yay for me!
Just move to Florida, Craig. All your problems will be solved. All right.
Especially with my accent.
Just like Doug Stanhope said, we want you to come here. Come on.
Yeah.
Just not the moment you don't. Let's not fucking talk about that.
Wait, why not at the moment? What's wrong with Florida?
No, just people coming into America.
Oh,
dude, you're from the UK. You're fine. As soon as they hear your accent, they're gonna. Oh, dude, let them in.
Yeah, they're gonna say, James Bond, is that you? Come on.
Hello,
they're gonna immediately think that you are smarter than all of us. Oh, he's got a working brain. Get him in here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorely disappointed. They clearly don't watch YouTube then. They're not on our channel.
It's the accent, man. Dude, I'm telling you, that accent will get you immediately.
Governor. Mind if I pop in? Can I help with the economy?
Without jumping too far into the movie, what are some scenes around the start of the film, middle of the film that you guys want to talk about a little bit?
Oh, I got a scene I want to talk about real quick. Okay.
Let's do it.
So this is one of my favorite scenes in James Bond history, by the way. So we're going to start with that. However, rewatching it, I realized that there is a pretty significant error in this that kind of bothers me. It kind of bothers me. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but anyway,
I bet this is at the casino, isn't it?
No, this is
oh my god.
I was wondering what Brian's thoughts were going to be about the casino. He's like, the camera, they're not doing things right here.
It probably wasn't done that well with the casino scene, but I don't know because I never learned. That is the one game that I never learned in the casino industry.
Okay. What were they even playing? Is it Baccarat or?
I can't remember if it's Baccarat or if it's something else. See, I think it's that game that's popular in French casinos. I can't remember what it's called.
Buongiorno. It's a great casino game.
No.
Buongiorno. Well, the one that sounds meticulously Spanish.
The French already hate us. It's okay.
Oh. But anyway, this is a scene where it was probably one of the most intense scenes in the movie. James Bond is he's going through. He just sends that one girl away that he had sex with, and then he starts going through her apartment, and he sets up the bed to where it looks like there's a person in there, and then he just sits there at the door, and then the one guy, the one guy from earlier, shows up that he questioned.
Right.
The guy,
does this guy not shoot 6 times?
No, Craig. Let me say what's wrong with the scene.
Sorry.
Okay, so he takes his gun out and he starts shooting the pillow, and it's such an awesome scene. But then, as he steps in, and James Bond goes, "Hold it right there." So then he makes him drop the gun. But before he drops the gun, you see that the slide on the gun is back, which means that it's empty. So you know right then and there that it's empty, and the guy who is holding the gun, if he knew anything about guns, which he's fucking carrying one, so he probably
But he is a geologist.
Yeah,
that is true.
He's a geologist.
That's what it's. That's why I don't say it's a major error, but it's.
Wait,
Brian, that is like saying when he takes the spider. Sorry, go. Wait,
I'm not finished with the fucking scene.
Okay, Brian, go on.
Let me finish. Okay, so he comes in. He whacks the pillows because the pillows are not a person. Okay, the slide is on the back, which means it is empty because that's what a handle with a slide on does when it's empty. It stays back and it stays there. It doesn't move. It's locked into place unless you hit the switch that moves the slide forward. So James Bond says, "Hey, drop the gun." He drops it on the ground. And then he gets on the bed. But then when the camera goes back to the gun, the slide has moved back into a place where you couldn't tell if it was loaded or not. Which there was nothing that touched the
continuity error
slide thing on it. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe as a British person I missed that.
And I didn't notice this. Now you got me thinking about the scene a little bit more. When he drops the gun in the doorway, was it on the blanket? Because when you skip to that next scene, the gun is on the blanket and he scooches it forward with his feet.
He says throw it backwards.
But does he drop it onto the blanket?
He says throw it behind you. He says drop the gun behind you, and he throws it back. Yeah.
Does it lands on the blanket?
I can't remember where exactly it lands, but I'm assuming it lands on the blanket. But anyway, when he before he drops it, the slide is back, and it's there. When he goes to look at it when it's on the ground again, the slide is moved back forward, which means that it could be loaded. So it's a continuity error, and I would say it potentially a major one. Because if the thing is though, if the character looks down and sees that the slide is back, he knows it's empty, so that scene would make no fucking sense. But because he looks down and the slide is forward, he goes, "Oh, maybe I have another shot in there." So there's a lot of just that one detail could really screw up the scene here, which depending on which way you go. So
when you told me that was the error, that is not what I was expecting. What the best thing about that is that you expected I would clock onto that.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
well, I mean,
mate,
it's. I mean,
I've seen the guns.
thing.
I've seen the guns pull back, but it's usually something you'll see as a close up on a film that just like because it's an important plot piece. The guy's out of ammo, so you know if you ever see it on a film, it's zoomed in. You see it's cocked back, so
yeah.
You need to put another. It's not called a round, is it? It's not a
magazine.
Magazine, yeah. It's not called a clip. It's a magazine.
You can call it a clip too. I mean, that's the slang term for it.
I've heard people get iffy about that before. Do you know,
the proper term is magazine, though.
Magazine,
yes.
Yeah. But
not the magazine.
I guess those are people who want to call their sweet weapons by the correct term. And like, how dare you insult my gun by calling it a clip? How dare you give my firearm a clip? Oh my god. That sounds like you were talking to a fucking thoroughbred gun touting American right there.
Thought it was.
You are. But there is a.
You know what?
I'm not-
The weirdest thing is when you started saying about that scene, I thought he's going to say something about the card game. That's where I thought you were going.
Oh no.
Because he starts playing,
No.
he knocks everything off, but he just starts playing cards with himself, and I thought, my God, it really was a different time, wasn't it? So he's got this elaborate thing set up. He's got a gun ready for this guy to come in, so he can, catch wherever this guy is.
Yeah.
After he's just, I thought, wow, this woman is really pretty. Yeah. Who does she remind me of? And I thought, my God, this is like a 1962 version of facially of Jennifer Lawrence. I thought, why? She's really pretty.
Really?
If you just go back,
this chick was Asian, man.
Jennifer Lawrence has got.
She does an Asian look to her a little bit.
Asian-esque.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Just go back and watch. Right. I don't think I'm insane. I thought she looks a bit.
I got your back, Craig. I see it.
I think you both are nuts.
She's got a little bit.
A little bit of her. She reminds me of her. And, both really pretty.
We missed something big.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
That scene that I was bitching about with the gun, though, it was one of my favorite Bond scenes of all time. When he's talking to him, and then the guy picks up the gun, and it clicks, and nothing comes out. And then the line. That's one of the best kill lines before James Bond whacks somebody. He's just like, Smith & Wesson, and you've had no sex.
I knew that. That I knew. I knew you would like that. As soon as I heard that,
I wish I could do a Sean Connery voice, man.
Smith & Wesson.
It's a Smith & Wesson. And you've had your sex.
The setup for that whole scene was so cool because they didn't rush it. They followed Sean Connery around with the camera, and they just watched him set the scene. And it was so neat. He plays the music after he pours the vodka, puts 2 glasses there. He sets everything up so perfectly. I thought it was such a well done Sheen.
It was such a
well done. Are you talking like him? It was such a well done scene. I had to give it a little slap.
That's insane. How to give it a give it a little
the set on the ash. The setup before.
Oh, by the way, sorry, Craig. I just want to get this last because I just remembered it. But remember when he said, "You've had your sex," and then he shoots him twice. The second time, it looks like he shoots him in the ass because the guy puts his hand behind his back.
He goes, "Oh!"
Oh wait.
The last shot was animated in a funny way.
Yeah. So on his way, I've noticed that a lot of our talks have to do with ass. So I figured that would be a good one to include in there.
Well, we know what kind of men we are.
2 out of 3.
So
no, I want to talk about the setup before. There's just one little bit that is just so James Bond.
Run it.
Where he books a taxi. So obviously he'd never book a taxi, so they know that's code. Send the police or whatever. So he's like, "Could I use your phone?" He's saying, "I want to leave. I'll make you a Chinese dinner here." Blah blah blah.
He's just like, "No."
So he books his taxi, and then she gets in the bed and she just put a nail varnish on, and he drags her over, kisses her, but as he's doing it, right before the scene cuts, he's got all he's wearing is his watch, and he just goes, checks the time, and then the screen fades. I thought that is so.
I don't think Sean Connery was acting in this film. I don't think he was acting. I think this is just him.
It's just him.
It's just him.
He's like actually James Bond. Yeah. It's like, all right, I want you to do this. And he's like, I'm fucking Sean Connery.
There's a story I've heard about Sean Connery I want to get to later after we get past the whole seashells thing.
Does anybody have a problem with she gets out of the shower and she has heels on? She remember when she goes to the door to greet James Bond and she's still all wet because she just got out of the shower. She's got a towel on.
I didn't notice that. I noticed when she
was it not a towel? Maybe I'm tripping.
No, because he unzips it. He unzips it at the back. She's saying what happened on my back. But when she's on the phone to him, she's wearing like negligee, but she also has the heels on, and she's doing the whole. No, she's drying her hair, but that is because he unzips it.
It's like a weird towel.
It looks like a towel, man.
It's like a towel around her, but she's got like a corset sort of mini skirt thing.
Jennifer Lawrence. Okay.
I can see it.
A little bit is all I'm saying. But it's yeah, what the fuck? You got completely different helmet.
Towel, sorry, towel, heels.
Oh yeah, no,
Out of
she's
the
got a
shower.
lingerie on, and she also had the yeah, she also had shoes on there, and I thought it's a bit of a choice, isn't it?
Well, here's
you
a weird
relaxed in the
question.
house.
So this
And
entire
she's like rolled down
scene,
on the bed on the phone, like that became such a trope because she lifts her leg in the air. She's lying on the front of the bed and lifts her leg in the air, like one leg, which I've seen a million times in like films since. And then she like rolls onto her back, and even
Maybe
though
she had to
she's
pee.
like,
wait, is that how women pee?
depends where.
Laying on their back.
Depends where you're from.
Yeah, I was gonna say depends which state you're from.
Okay. All right. So this
Sorry.
scene for me is weird. Why
Go
was
on.
she actually getting ready for a night out if she didn't actually expect James Bond to show up?
Probably because she
Anyone
was
got
going to
any
be taken.
theories here?
She's probably going to get taken out, but the guards were going to escort her out to somewhere else.
So
'cause
what? Homeboy was going to show up. The geologist was going to show up, shoot James Bond, and then they were going to go out on a date or something? Because she was like really getting ready. You know what I mean? And then he shows up at the door, and she's all baffled.
Possibly because she.
It's a minor plot hole for me. It's not huge, but
To keep him there, she happily sleeps with him. I mean, I know it's James Bond, but
yeah.
she says, I'll do what I can to keep him here.
The
She
funniest part about this is James Bond knows that it's a setup now, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm still gonna fuck her."
Yeah.
This
This
woman
is
tried to kill me.
James
He's
Bond.
like, I'm at least gonna get laid out of this.
That's how this works. That's absolutely how this works. Yeah.
He's like,
100%.
and I-
That's why he's looking at the watch. He's like, do I have
It's
2 minutes or
not-
2 hours?
It's not
And then
processing.
immediately, so, and she gets
she has to keep me here.
afterwards, she gets dolled and she looks gorgeous in this like sort of Chinese silk dress. It's absolutely stunning. And then she gets in this taxi, and the guy from earlier, the cop guy who had
government guy.
the shorts on, and she gets his shot. What's this? And he's like, "Don't don't mess up a nail
Don't mess
varnish."
up her nails.
Yeah.
Fucks her off.
Face. What a G, bro.
He said that like he said that he fucks her off. Like, get out of here.
Literally fucks
He
her off.
pumps and dumps. Guy pumps and dumps. It's James
Oh
Bond.
yeah. He's got to make moves. He's got to save the world, man.
Oh, and we haven't spoken about it. I'll bring it up. It's super quick. When he first comes in, well, two things. We start off in Jamaica, and it's all sunny, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, everything. And then you go to England, and it's a shot of the Thames, and it is just fucking miserable. It's dark and it's miserable. Welcome to England. I was like, yep, that's a shot of England.
That's hysterical.
Then he goes in, and he gets his hat, and then he tosses it, and it just lands. And it's just
perfectly on the rack. Yeah.
yeah. And I was just thinking
you can tell
that about.
he's also banged that secretary as well. It doesn't stop at 3.
It's a running joke along the films that
Miss Moneypenny.
Miss Moneypenny. Him and Miss Moneypenny. There's never been anything that actually.
Oh, she's like
confirms that.
she's like a reoccurring character.
By
Yeah.
the way, I thought
Okay.
because going back, I realized I was like, oh, this chick isn't British. She's putting on an accent and it's not very good. And then I was like, this. It sounds like she might be American, but it turns out she's Canadian,
Interesting.
which is all not quite the same thing.
It would have been crazy if we got an A out of her.
I was just gonna say, hey, Mr. Bond, eh? Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
But no,
Was
you
that
know
the
what she
giveaway?
sounds like? She sounds
Giveaway.
like she has that fabled mid-Atlantic accent that
Like
was
the
so
Minnesota.
No,
Well,
it's the
well,
accent
Minnesota-
that was so prevalent in like movies from like the 1940s to the 70s. It was
Can you
it
give
was
me
that
the-
like
the Mid-Atlantic. Oh, sorry, the Mid-Atlantic.
yeah, it's that accent that sounds like half British, half
Cary
American.
Grant, the
Oh,
North by
That sounds
Northwest.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just so you don't really define what they are. Essentially, so you don't define what they are.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of that accent. Yeah, I think we've brought that up, or maybe me and I think I've spoken to you about that, Brian.
I think
sure
we have,
we've-
yeah. I think we have
It
on
might
this
be the-
channel.
It might,
I don't
yeah,
know.
it might have been on this channel, or it might have been a phone. We've definitely spoken about it.
We've definitely talked about it. Yes.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's really weird. But she's like the only character
But
in
you
the
can't
thing that has that. And I guess she did it because it was she probably couldn't do a proper English accent or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Who really knows what the answer is?
Well, to be
But it
fair,
sounded off. She sounded like it's like that. I'm trying to like think of like that voice. Like it would be like a lot of sports announcers from like the 1930s, 40s, and 50s had it. Quentin, you ever heard like recordings of like and he gets the baseball in center field, and now he's going to take it back. Oh, it goes back to the wall. It looks like it's out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so that's a mid-Atlantic accent. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in a
I know what you're
weird
talking about. Okay.
uppity kind of way because
I can
I'm doing
see
a
it.
sports announcer kind of thing. But yeah,
Okay, what is it? Like Boardwalk Empire from like 1920s.
there's a lot. There's some of that in that show. Yes.
Okay.
never saw. I know Steve Buscemi's in it. Never saw it.
Oh, fucking fantastic show.
I heard good things.
Nucky Thompson.
I liked
dude.
it,
Oh,
dude.
My God.
And it's probably a blasphemous thing to say, but I liked it better than Sopranos.
Same. Sopranos, I was
I've heard
only
a few
able to
people saying
watch
that.
3 seasons of Sopranos, and then it felt too much of just watching the same angry filled guy, and all I wanted him to do was fuck his therapist. And he didn't. Like, I'm just like waiting for that to happen, and like it just never. I don't. At least I gave up. I don't know if they end up fucking later on in the show. But
Well, we
that's
all know
I
what
really
Quentin's
needed.
fetish is.
Fat Italian guy or therapist
Or-
librarian.
Hey, guy! I'm talking about a
Therapist.
Oh, or librarian
My
therapist.
wife did go to school for psychology, if I'm not mistaken.
You have a fetish for Tony Soprano. Fuck. Oh my God.
That's crazy, Craig.
only
That's
thing-
crazy.
The only thing
All
I know
right.
about
That's it, folks. We're done.
So
Let's go.
there's a couple scenes. The
I know what,
second
I
I know
can
what Craig's fetish is.
fat
No,
Italian
you don't.
guy.
No.
You do not.
No,
You
it's
do.
Mel Gibson.
That's the hatred for the English that makes Craig really get all hot and bothered.
Oh,
You know, it's amazing how many women.
I got it. Oh, that was the best Mel Gibson reference I've had yet. I'm patting myself on the back for that
You
one.
know what's crazy? How is James Bond not caught syphilis? In this
Syphilis.
film?
You fuck you. That was my fucking joke, and you fucking cut me off, Brian. You piece of shit. I had that about fucking 6 hours ago. You
I'm sorry.
son of a bitch.
Sorry. Brian reminded me we had to keep the continuity. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Oh my God, I'm in tears.
If this is anyone's first
Yo,
time
I
watching-
can't breathe. My face hurts. Oh,
That was
You won't
a 2 for
understand.
1. I'm sorry.
oh my God.
Ugh.
I need. Oh, I need a
Sorry,
moment after
Craig.
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
it's like,
Does this mean anything to anyone? The dancing seizure man in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about the black dude?
Bro, that guy was out of his fucking mind. I don't know what drugs homeboy took, but he was out.
Good
of
ones.
his
It's 1962, and a
Dude.
lot of this stuff isn't regulated yet.
it's-
How, it was probably
And it's
cleaner
not
back then,
accomplished on the house.
realistically. Listen, dude, when I saw this guy, I must have rewound the fucking thing at least 6 times just to see it. And they don't just include him in one shot. I was like, oh, I'm not going to see this guy again. I got to savor this moment. Like a minute later, they go right back to him. Dude is still doing the same shit, losing his mind. It had me in fucking tears.
Everybody else in that scene is like
Dancing
doing
nice.
like finger stuff like this, and just like kind of being robotic, just to like keep the
Yeah.
scene like
Here
where
we
it's
go.
supposed to go. And then you pan over to the black dude, and he's just wicked out, dude.
Do
He's
you remember what
I
we're
don't know
talking
what
about
he's
here,
on, but
Craig?
he's like.
It's insane, dude. Do you remember this part, Craig?
That guy was the MVP of the movie.
no, this,
Easily.
I can tell you why. Because I know exactly. I think I might have caught him for a second, but I was thinking this is 1962, and I was looking at the bass guitar and the guitar. I was like,
Okay.
that'll come.
Well, you're supposed to. You're a musician. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where your eyes going to go.
My
I was playing, and literally, I remember thinking, I can't fucking hear any guitar in this music. The trumpets, like the brass is going off the fucking charts here. Can't hear shit of the fucking guitar. And then there's some guy on fucking who's on Mars at the moment. Fucking
Oh my god, he was
Giving it
way
sucks.
past Mars, dude. He's on his way to
He's on his
Neptune at the
best.
moment. He is
He's
out of his mind, dude.
and I missed that, but I'm going.
He's trying to catch up to the Voyager.
Yeah,
Sorry, that one didn't land.
that's why
quite
I'm
as
so
well.
bored. I'm like, there's no fucking guitar. Why is there guitar?
Yeah, I didn't hear any guitar in that either. To be fair,
But the guy, I was looking at the guy. It's like, looks like he's playing. He's fucking going for it. But anyway,
there's something. But to your point though, there's sometimes you see like music scenes, and like I remember there's like 2 or 3 scenes I remember from like Disney movies where there's like you hear like synthetic music and then you have like a whole band set, and I'm like, none of these guys are playing any of these notes right now. You know, so it is funny when that kind of stuff does happen.
It drives me up the fucking wall.
For a musician, I feel like that's got to be brutal watching movies. Like that'll take you out of it, does it? Does it do that for you?
It really does. It really does. I try to ignore it because I would love to. Do you know when like songs get really like we said earlier about the whole Billy? I would love to not be a musician sometimes, so I just go, do I like this? Just
Fair.
to listen to it, but I'm just hearing it as. Yeah, I can't not dissect it a little bit. My brain always does that. I'll think, what are they doing there? What's that?
Yeah.
And as much as I am probably on the spectrum, I'm very sure I am. I think that's just inherent. I can't not do it.
No.
And yeah, it does annoy me. But when you see something good, that if you see a good music scene in the film, you'll know, because if you like watch it on YouTube, the comments will just be lit, like just, wow, this is so good, this is so amazing, this is so close, this, because
Yeah. The good comments will definitely let you know with something like that. That's for sure.
But going back to my guy Quarrel, he gets his photo snapped, and he just goes, "Quarrel, get it!" Like he's a fucking dog, and he just does, and he just fucking puts him in a chicken wing.
Because he knows that 1, this is James Bond, and 2, if he doesn't do it, he's going to get a little slap.
He'll get a slap. And not only that, he's working for the CIA, and you don't want to live in Jamaica.
That'll scare you too. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what I enjoy. That's like a hidden aspect of James Bond movies that I enjoy. Is like James Bond is always 1 or 2 steps ahead of what the CIA knows, and I fucking love that because
it's that Kingsman shit,
Yeah, I fucking love that. I don't know what it, but like as an American, I don't like watching movies about American fucking spy operations and nearly as much as I do like other countries. And it doesn't have to be the British spies. It could be spies from like other countries and stuff. If there's a movie about it, I always find those so much more interesting.
That piques a big question. What do people in the UK think about like Mission Impossible? Like, was that a huge thing for you guys or no? Because obviously James Bond being like the first spy,
it was a huge hit.
Okay, so it was big out there.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm alone. The last Mission Impossible film that came out, I am gutted that didn't do better. Because the last
it was a weird time for movies to come out. I don't know if it was a writer's strike or COVID, but I went to theaters.
I think there was a film. No, because wasn't Oppenheimer right after that, or right before? I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise tried to get the IMAX film. Like they could only do IMAX for that film. There was some IMAX deal. I'm pretty sure. I might be talking on my fucking ass here. But I think they came out within like 2 weeks of each other. The Last Mission Impossible and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it was Barbie and Oppenheimer. According to available Barbenheimer were released around the same week as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, generating significant attention from audience shortly after the release of Mission Impossible film. Essentially, the following week for the release of Dead Reckoning Part 1 saw major release of Barbie and Oppenheimer. So yeah, that killed it. I mean, that's all everyone was talking about at the time. But to go back,
but no, the one before that, and yeah, it had Henry Cavill in, and I don't know how Henry Cavill hasn't just. Yeah, that was an amazing. I don't know how he hasn't just scored an absolute,
Did you guys see his interview for not his interview, his audition for James Bond yet? Henry Cavill's.
No.
He auditioned for James Bond. I want to say it was when Daniel Craig. And
I've heard he did.
It was a week ago or this week they released the footage of it, which is interesting.
Have you seen it?
I did. It was cool. He had slicked back hair in it, which doesn't fit the James Bond character. Like his hair was back, but it still had some curls. But him saying James Bond, I was like, oh fuck!
I think it would be a fucking fantastic James Bond.
I'll send it to you guys in the chat.
It's I don't know, man. I feel like James Bond should be I feel like I'm always in the minority on this when I see, because the three people that have people have suggested be the next James Bond, the top three are usually Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, and Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy would be. He's old though. He's older now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Beside the fact of whether you think those are good or not, I feel like whoever's casted as James Bond should be a more, a lesser known actor. Should be a lesser known actor. Because if you throw Idris Elba or Tom Hardy or Henry Cavill in that role, you're not thinking just James Bond. You're thinking Henry Cavill or Tom Hardy. True. Yes, because when Daniel Craig got cast as no, that came out after he started playing James Bond.
Really?
Yeah, because he took over James Bond in 2005, 2006, something like that.
I think it was 06.
But anyway, before he became James Bond, unless you've seen any of his films before, you really don't know who he is.
Yeah, you haven't seen Layer Cake.
And the same thing happened. It's pretty much the same thing with every actor that's played James Bond. That's why I think it works. Because if you cast somebody who's super famous, then it's not going to have the same effect.
Fair.
Am I alone in this, or am I onto something here?
I mean, it kind of lines up good. I mean, with Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, that's the only two I know. I don't know about Roger Moore.
You'll maybe see them in other films, but yeah.
But they're not super huge names or anything before.
Who's Timothy Dalton? Oh, he's the guy who played James Bond. Who's Roger Moore? Oh, he's the guy who plays James Bond. Mm-hmm. There's nothing,
Yeah.
Fair. It's not the same as I feel like you could get away with that casting Batman, but James Bond.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to go with a lesser known to find the next great James Bond.
American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say Batman.
Christian Bale's got a plethora of fucking movies.
Yeah,
Batman.
But I like it. I like how to me and Craig he's Jason Bateman, though. Even though I do think he's the best Batman, but not Jason Bateman.
I'm like, did I miss
Jason Bateman's your favorite actor? Isn't Jason Bateman your favorite actor?
No, I can't stand him.
Jason Bateman doesn't act either. He just plays an asshole in every fucking role that he. Oh, Jason Bateman.
I meant to say Patrick Bateman.
No, I am thinking of Jason Bateman. Arrested Development, right?
Yeah, he's Brian's favorite actor.
No, he doesn't act. He just plays an asshole in whatever role he's in, and it fits. They cast him for that. He's just like that. I'm so smart asshole role. That's all he does.
Or they try to cast him as basically like a Bond villain in another franchise, or somebody who's super nice, and it never works.
Like that horrible Suitcase movie that just came out on Netflix that he played in.
Yes, I watched that.
Yeah, that was fucking.
First half of that has Taron Egerton in it too.
He's good. Yeah, he's cool in it.
He's not bad in it, but it's
Jason Bateman does that Bond villain thing like you're talking about. Exactly. That's hysterical.
But as a villain in that movie, we'll move on after this. But I'd asking Quentin, like as a villain in that movie, did you believe it? I didn't believe it for a fucking second.
Like it's weird. Like,
I didn't believe it for a fucking second.
When you sit down in the chair and then you're like, oh, it's Jason Bateman. It's like a weird letdown because Jason Bateman, like anytime I've seen him, he's always been in like that comedy and he plays that character and he's played that character for so long. Not the villain, but just the normal character that I'm used to seeing him play. It's like, oh, okay, takes you out of it. And then the movie just takes a big shit.
The second half in particular,
it's so fucking bad.
The first half of the movie I was kind of intrigued, but the second half I was like, forget it, this is awful.
Jason Bateman. Yes, correct.
Yo, Q, just a quick heads up, mate. This is my impression of you last few minutes.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Joe.
Joe's gonna get you, dude.
I don't know. Right. Christina's my wife is gonna bolt this shit down. So she's gonna make it. So
you'll figure it out eventually, man.
In the meantime, you'll figure it out. Accept my consistent apologies.
You might want to. Do you still have that camera on the?
It's on my desk.
Thing?
On the back of my desk.
Okay, is it just resting on the desk?
No, it's like on. So it's like a clip. You put it on the back of the desk, and then it's like a weird like.
Oh, so that you can,
yeah.
You might. I don't know if it'll fit, but it might. You might have a thing where you could put it on because mine's on the top of my computer screen because it's got like a little platform thing you can clip on it. So you might get that. It works so much better. But
I think it has that. I just have to unscrew it.
Yeah, you have to unscrew that off of that thing first.
Okay, that makes sense.
But anyway, what else do you guys want to talk about with this movie here?
I got the second Honey comes in. I have a lot of problems. The second Honey.
It's the first time that a man has ever said this.
Yeah, I mean, she's just fucked, man. She goes from being so worrisome. I actually I didn't realize I wasn't taking a lot of notes because nothing was like what the fuck in this movie until it got to Honey, and then within 5 minutes. I had an entire page of notes written down.
I have a problem with Ursula Andress. Said no man ever.
Dude, that's the problem.
The poster of her. That is going to be one of the top selling posters of all time.
My first note with this,
the mouths of babes,
is when James Bond is there and he's creeping on her from the woods and he's thinking about stroking it and then he's like, nah, let me just approach. My luck has been pretty good so far. So he goes and approaches her. She's like, yo, what the fuck? Of course
his luck is good. He's fucking Sean Connery.
He's Sean Connery.
Gonna give that Asher a little
he comes out. She's like, what the fuck? Who are you? Yada yada. Knife comes out, right? And he's just like. He's like, no, I'm not going to hurt you. She's backing up. And then all he says is, no, it's really not my intention not to hurt you. As he's still approaching her and she's backing up. And she's like, my
intentions are honorable.
Yeah, my intentions are honorable. And she's like, all right, that did it. Let's go.
Immediately puts the knife away. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Next problem with her. The girl fucking is apparently, and they did touch on this a little bit, but not so much. Homegirl is talking about all these animals. She was like, yeah, have you seen a praying mantis rip off another one's head after they're done fucking? Because I have, and she's spitting all these facts about animals. And yo, who is this?
They didn't have you. And I literally have it written down. We've all seen it.
I have it written down, and I was like, girl on the beach is a zookeeper. And then funny enough, in the very next scene, she's like, yeah, my father was a marine zoologist. So I was like, all right, they kind of saved themselves a little bit there from this girl and all of her wizardly facts about all these animals, even though she's only ever lived on fucking beaches her entire life.
It said wizardly.
Then the girl goes, sorry, I can't. I'm going to
keep going. I'm loving this.
Dragons.
So after they're on the beach and, they're getting shot at, and he's like, don't move. And she's like, no, I'm never coming out of this spot. She goes, I don't move till daylight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when James Bond found her, she's just playing in the water, getting fucking shells out. And then this chick is just stating, yeah, I never go out in the daylight. Never. I just wait till it's night. Then I move around. She was out there snorkel and all, doing her lolly fucking Sandy sells seashells by the seashore shit. And, you know, I don't know.
Again?
Sally sells, she sells by the seashore. She did that shit.
Seashells by the seashore.
She sells.
Oh, no, she sells by the seashore.
Put the seashells down before I give you a little slap.
Before you get a little slap. James Bond continues to then yank this girl around the entire beach. Like anytime that something happens, they're just like, he just like grabs arm and drags her everywhere, and that's just fine. She's cool with this.
She follows him. She happily follows him. She gets attached to him.
She's like, I can take care of myself. One scene, next scene, damsel in distress. Save me, Mr. Bond. Like,
well, she thinks her dad got killed there.
Yeah.
She's sure her
so why the fuck did she go on the beach? She says, yeah, I'm pretty sure my father was murdered here.
That conch shell will sell for $50 in Miami.
Great. Why that beach where you think your father has been murdered at? Do you think it's a good idea?
Because that's where the conchs live.
There's other conchs, maybe not on this island. These conchs are just radioactive. Okay.
That's why they're expensive.
Next problem. She goes, every time the people come looking for me, I outrun them, right? When we see the bad guys, what do they pull up in?
The boat, the diesel-powered boat.
Diesel-powered, fucking full engine. They're like, yeah, look at this thing. That's the fastest shit I've ever seen, is basically what they're saying. You end up getting to the scene with her boat that, you know, now has a whole shot in it. It is the most rundown, like, little kayak-looking shit that I have ever seen in my life. This thing doesn't look like it can move 2 miles an hour.
It looks like a lifeboat for Noah's.
Straight up, bro. Noah's Ark lifeboat. Like,
it's not going to look like Thunder in Paradise, is it?
Well, it's not. It doesn't have a motor on it. I'm just saying, her saying that I outrun them every time. Like, you got a group of like probably 30 dudes that are chasing you down, and you're in a little kayak. Whatever, not the end of the world. Yeah, I think that's all I got for her. Besides that, the danger sign on the beach that looks like it's out of a fucking
that was ridiculous. Yes,
yeah,
that was ridiculous.
That was so fucking funny.
It was just like
the skull's like cockeyed. It's got the picture of the skull, but the eyes are off center.
It looked like a Disney cartoon, like Skull. I don't know. It looked more welcoming than Turn Away. It was like polished, brand new sign, straight out of the sign shop.
Out of all those things, and you said she was a marine zoologist, which I think
her father was a marine zoologist.
And she believes in dragons. You didn't pick up on that.
Another one. That's a great point.
Oh, we're getting to that. We're going to get to that scene.
Her character is just, they needed to give her less lines and more boobs. That's all I'll say.
You have to say that to an actress. Less lines, more titties. Make it happen.
There's a story. I think I heard it from Jim Jeffries. So and he heard it from someone else. So this is like third hand, but it sounds believable. And honest to God, I hope this is true. So he heard it from a friend that there was a bunch of guys. They took out Sean Connery. They were trying to schmooze him for a role or something like that. They took him out golfing because Sean Connery, that's literally all he did for the last, decade of his life, was lived in the Bahamas, and he had went out golfing every day.
Sounds like a pretty good life.
Sounds like a...
Yeah,
I don't even like golf, and I think that sounds amazing.
I like golf.
So they take him out golfing, and it's, all the producers for whatever this is, they're all out, and they've got drinks going, just guys out on, just guys talking, but they've all talking to Sean Connery, so they're asking about, this, that, and the other, and they're getting all the juicy stories. And so one of the guys is like, where's the weirdest place you ever had sex? And Sean Connery just gets up, they've stopped, they're having something to eat and having drinks. And that's when he asks this. Sean Connery stops and gets up, and everyone around the table is like, he's been married for 40 fucking years. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sean Connery comes back. Sorry, indigestion. Ursula Andrews in the ass.
No.
That's a flex. That's
fuck-
crazy.
Wow.
Good for
I've
him.
heard that
thinking?
story. Obviously it's third hand, like third, fourth hand, or whatever. By this point, I honestly, God, I hope there's just a smidgen of truth in that.
It's probably a smidgen of poop in that.
Oh,
uh,
oh man.
that's not how that works.
Did
That's
anyone, that's insane. Did anyone feel a little uncomfortable with a certain scene where she's telling Bond? It's like a nice deep conversation about her life and a horrific incident that happens to her.
with a
Um,
Black Widow spider.
Yeah, where she gets violated by this guy. And then the
Yeah.
very next follow-up to that very deep and like intimate conversation where it's like sad and shit, she goes, by the way, are you seeing anyone? Like she just got done telling this man about like this horrific thing that happened to her. She's like, are you
no.
seeing anyone? Like, what?
Before that, he says, "Don't make it a habit" or something like that.
Yes, he did. Yes, good call.
He says, don't make it a habit?
He
Oh,
says,
the
don't, what is he?
spider thing.
He said, yeah.
About the spider thing.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's something to the effect of "Don't make it a habit." I can't remember the exact line; it's escaping me. But yeah, but then she's just told him that. But obviously, she's dealt. I'm gonna say she's dealt with it. She's processed it. But obviously, she's been saved by this guy. You know, these guys came on the boat. These two guys have saved her. They've caused her no harm. They look to be protecting her. There's no intimation that they're doing anything but actually protect her and keep her safe. So she's got to have a degree of safety. And obviously, she's gone through trauma. She's lost her dad. She's gone through that sort of shit. I'm not in any way any sort of psychologist. I could see that being a sort of reaction to just
Like
all the adrenaline,
like a comfort about it.
all the
Not
adrenaline's going
feeling
through
safe.
her, and then just looking for some sort of.
So it's not a clapback because I hear what you're saying, but like once again, don't go to the fucking island that you think your father is murdered on, and like maybe.
Well, she's
you
clearly
won't
fucking
feel-
batshit crazy.
Yeah, she's nuts. She's nuts.
She might be looking for some revenge, too.
No, she literally said it. She was like, "I'm just here for seashells."
On the seashore.
Like at this place where people are hunting me, I just choose to come here because they got the best conch shells. Just seems a little risky for $50, but hey, I don't know.
Well, that's 50
It's
bucks.
also a. I mean,
$50
there's conch shells all over Florida, so why would you go to Jamaica to get them? You could just
On a
get
radioactive
them where we are.
murderous beach. Let's go to this one that supposedly has a dragon that you've seen on this beach. Let's go to the one where my dad was murdered on. There's a fucking dragon flying around somewhere that you've seen. And not to mention, the sand is radioactive.
Quentin's talked me into it. Fuck this.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, yeah.
Well, she's a marine zoologist. She's not a
Her father
radiologist. No, her father was. And she's not a radiologist.
Okay, so you knocked one theory down. The murder and the rocks that are everywhere in Florida, the shells. Why this beach where people are trying to hunt you down?
And she's she's traveling over 100 miles to get conch shells, go to the place where her dad died, and there's a goddamn dragon that she believes in.
Mate, I told you she's crazy. Why is she crazy? This girl clearly has issues. So, probably amazing in bed.
That's a really great point, actually. Pretty sure in like the span of 4 hours, James Bond hits it like 3 times with her. Like every chance they get, he's like, "All right, come here, honey."
They never actually show. They never show that. They show them kissing at the end, but they never actually show that. But yeah, can we talk about? They start traveling. They escape the dogs with the reeds.
I love that. That was
through
cool.
the mouth. They take out that one random guy. Every single guy's gone except the one guy, and then James has to just, give him a rear naked choke, take him out. I'm not sure if it's that or if he actually slits his throat because she
I thought maybe they put a knife. He put a knife in his back.
He did.
I wasn't sure if it's that or
they showed him with the knife.
Yeah, he did something, and she's like, I'm so horrified.
I'd have to watch that again because I am confused as well. I don't know which one of the three he did.
There was a knife in the back.
Either of them, he kills them, and they go off, and then it's nighttime, and then the dragon comes out. Now the dragon, fuck me, that is not a dragon. That is a redneck fucking Tesla truck painted like a shark.
I thought it was a John Deere tractor painted red.
John Deere tractor. That's hysterical. Sponsored
I thought it
by
looked like
John
a
Deere.
Tesla truck that fucking shoots up flames. And
Looks
here we
like
go.
the very first Mitsubishi.
Justice for Quarrel. James is saying, I'll take out the tires and the lights. He takes out one light, and our boy gets turned into barbecue Jamaican jerk chicken.
I fucking hated this death, man.
Craig, that was beautiful. It's good.
I just hated this death because they're literally sitting in the bushes and the thing clearly, the fucking dragon tank, whatever you want to call this thing, it clearly knows they're there and it's going towards them at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so
but
eventually,
it's there. It's right in front of them.
and they don't move. They don't just start leaving.
Not to mention, this thing can't turn pretty fucking well. If you guys didn't notice, it like
No,
if it was to turn, it would just be like. So like all you got to do is go to the left or right side of the vehicle, go behind it. You're in the clear from the 5-foot radius of the fire. So keep your distance, go around it, and you're good, bro. Get in there, and stab him or choke hold him, and you're done.
Ironically enough, the one scene, considering how immediate it was, the one scene it did remind me of was the last Harry Potter, where they're in the Gringotts Bank and there's an actual dragon, and it just fucking roasts the goblin alive.
Yeah,
because he just dies immediately. And I was like, I really liked it throughout the whole film. I really liked his character. I genuinely did. I thought he was awesome.
Besides the fact that he didn't change shirts one time, he's pretty cool. He
No,
had the
Caribbean
lowest Griffin
Seaman.
effect. He had the lowest Griffin effect, man. That dude probably smelled like rotten
Mangoes in the
mangoes.
whatever that song is about mangoes.
Oh yeah,
They keep playing.
That's another part.
But-
Just like the mangoes falling from the trees.
Yeah,
Dude, that song in the Three Blind Mice, I thought for a second I was in a Disney movie when I heard those songs.
100%.
I was like, this is something straight out of fucking Disney. That
And
threw
then
me. Those songs threw me off a little bit. Yeah.
then they get all right. Our guys get kidnapped, and then they go into this. Right, the whole point of his lair is to disrupt this Mercury
Radioactive.
rocket.
They're
Well,
disrupting the rockets at Cape Canaveral, which is fairly close to us, by the way, where
Very
we are.
close.
And they still shoot off rockets there.
Hey, don't dox yourself.
Don't talk yourself, yeah. Have to give you a little slap.
And I think the premise is they're using nuclear power from this irradiated land, everything.
I think it's the rocks have uranium or something like that.
So they don't have to get petroleum in to feed this because they're using as limited as my understanding is. He wants to use radio waves to disrupt the gyroscope on this thing. I don't think using
Nuclear.
I don't think you could get any sort of wave that's strong enough because radio waves are really, really low energy. That's why they travel so far. So I don't think that will work. But regardless of that,
It's Christopher Nolan, Hollywood science,
Yeah. So, but he's built this base, and the whole point is he doesn't want to attract attention by bringing in loads of petroleum to fuel this thing. How the fuck did he get this base built? He's got
$10 million. You can buy.
He was talking about those. There's a couple lines in there where he talks about how he left.
left
China with like $10
$10
million,
million.
and that's what funded it to begin with.
Yeah, but how did it get built?
You just pay people off, whether it's government officials, anything like that. You got $10 million in 1960. You could pay off anyone, dude.
Someone's gonna talk.
Also, I don't know Jamaica's history, but I don't imagine it wasn't. It was probably a pretty corrupt at that time. I don't want to just say that out loud and like have that be bullshit, but
I'm with Craig on
Yeah,
this one.
but because it's
Even
corrupt.
10 million's not enough for back then. He's literally got a fucking island to himself, and it's like,
He's got a city under the island though,
yeah, as big as Disney World.
it was $1 million. $1
and everything
million
is
for
decked
one
out.
fish thing.
But his interrogation room was marble floored.
Oh, that
And
is
the
a little weird too. He said that he came from China with $10 million
Mhm.
and he spent $1 million on a fish tank.
Well, it's a very
Hey,
important thing.
if I had that much money, I would spend that much on a fish tank.
And then he's like,
We
I
know-
put
we
10
fucking
layers
know
of
you.
glass in there
Come
to
on,
make the fish look
tell the
bigger. Why
camera,
not
tell
put
the
some
camera,
bigger
let's
fish
see.
in there?
Brian,
There it is,
There
right
you
there.
go.
What do you have in there, Brian?
There's a fire
got a
eel in there.
shark.
It's about
Hell
that
yeah.
long.
he's got a shark and an eel.
How long is it?
Probably got.
Perfect. I just want to make a.
We know what you were doing.
I'm gonna make a
We know
special
what you're
picture
doing,
later.
Quentin, you sick fuck.
I'm sure you've seen it.
You haven't talked about many scenes, Brian. What do you want what do you want to bring up?
I'm kind of letting you guys go a little more.
I want to
This
talk about
time.
the interior of this fucking lair. How much copper sheeting was in this lair? Like all the doors.
How inexpensive was copper at the time?
I don't care. I've just never seen that. The only time I've seen copper in a house is either in the wiring or if you're rich, you've got copper pans for your cooking. There's just copper sheeting everywhere. I thought that's a choice because it was absolutely like all the doors, everything that was covered in that. Everything looked really nice.
It was nice, but it looked odd at the same time.
It was like an evil scientist lair. It was just
Yeah.
weird enough, and like, I don't know.
And here's the choice. You know, like this is just James knowing that he's being captured, and they're getting checked for radiation, and they tell them to they scrub them off, tell them to get naked, and before he does, he's like, "Take these off." He just walks up to just bold.
Yeah,
as
he
brass.
starts ordering them around. Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, right. We're
I
radioactive."
actually like that. I
was a little
thought that was great.
confused. I was a little bit confused.
The part
at
about it that
part.
wasn't great was everything else because I think Austin Powers ruined that shit for me. That whole
They're
scene,
gonna
I was
see the
thinking,
scene you're
this
talking
is
about.
Austin Powers 101.
And then they're going along the conveyor belt.
Evacuation complete.
They go along the conveyor belt, and it says active. So each stage is telling whether they're active or radioactive.
I think
and
that
then-
entire scene was just to get a glimpse at Homegirl's boobs. I truthfully do.
Which you can't see, by the way,
You
I
can't see.
paused.
so
I
it's not
tried
there.
so
because
hard.
she's
You couldn't
she's
see
wearing
any of it.
a skin-colored bikini
Was that what that was?
underneath. Yeah,
I just thought
so
that
she's
they
not
were
even naked.
bastards.
Well, I think that's pretty acceptable. Would you want
I
to be
disagree. Unacceptable.
as a viewer, as an actress? I think that's pretty acceptable.
Oh, as an actress, definitely. Yeah,
And
Oh, yeah.
Then
I
they
thought
go,
that
they-
whole thing looked like a shitty car wash. They're just getting pushed.
Car
through.
wash!
Effectively,
Imagine they just play the song Car Wash.
Oh, yeah.
Going through it. Car Wash.
That'd be perfect for that.
but the song time traveled.
I know it went backwards.
That's insane.
Oh man.
So
And then they
get
go.
roofied.
And they both get like comes up of it, and it's not just this film. Like loads of 60s films I've seen. There's that baby blue sort of aesthetic to if they're at poolside, they'll be wearing like shorts and a polo shirt that's like this baby blue color.
Yeah. It's like
His
golden.
outfit was baby blue, and then they give him the robes, and it's this weird baby blue color. They give him the robes, take them to their 5-star prison cell. This immediately just went Kingsman. They drink the coffee.
Yeah,
that's it.
James Bond and then Kingsman, yeah. So let me ask this. Why did they roofie them? Nothing
That's a good
happened
question.
from that.
That's a good
Nothing
question
happened.
because I was trying to figure that out as
They
well.
just roofied him, and then you skip to the point where you see the shadow over James Bond, and then it looks like that Dr. No possibly could have SA'd James Bond. Like, that's the only
I
thing
think you might have tried to kill him. I think you might have tried to kill him, if anything.
I thought there was a reason. I thought there was a reason he had those black gloves on.
Yeah, you
White
want to know
flame?
where all the fucking petroleum came from? He was hoarding them for himself.
What, petroleum jelly?
Petroleum jelly.
Yeah.
That, and apparently for what's her name's asshole.
Oh,
We need
right.
to stop going down the butthole route.
Yeah.
We are fucking dude. Craig thinks we're crazy.
Craig's the one who bought it up. Craig's the one who bought it up.
No, he didn't. No.
Yes, he did. About her butthole and what Sean Connery did.
Oh,
it
yeah.
with the petroleum jelly.
He never said anything about petroleum jelly, my son.
Here's some jelly. Oh.
There is a deleted scene in this.
Ooh.
So moving forward, they wake up, they get dressed. I'm not gonna lie. Oh,
Wait, why were they naked?
because they were getting dressed. They changed out of one thing into another.
So they were
Yeah, when they go when they go in their rooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they wake up and then Ursula Andrews gets dressed. Bond, he's got this, like, it looks like a sort of what he's more likely see on a
Wait,
Chinese
hold on.
person.
You know what I
Sorry.
mean, Brian?
Sorry, I just thought of one of the fucking things that made me laugh hysterically. And that when they get fucking fucking what's the
Roofied.
term? When they get roofied, thank you. So they get roofied, and then she's like, "Oh, there's something in the coffee or tea, whatever they're drinking."
And he
then
smashes
and
it.
then he goes, "What does he say?" Like fuck. He says like, "Damn coffee," and then he just slams it.
He goes from 0 to 16 in like
He
0
goes
seconds.
from wobbly to rage and then out.
Just black out. Yeah, well, that's why you give him a little slap. That's where that rage comes from.
That shit made me laugh really hard, actually. I can't
think that
believe I
is a bit
forgot about that. Sorry.
You know, it's the same. That is a bit jarring. Anyway, fuck. So they wake up, they're getting ready, and the woman comes back in just like nothing's happened. They go for dinner. They meet with Dr. No, who wants to this is straight from the get-go, because this was the 6th novel. It was the most recent one that came out, but the first film was supposed to be Thunderball, which was the first novel. They couldn't get the rights because someone else part owned the rights. So they did the 6th novel, which is the first one that came out.
Dr. No.
So the last one that came out, beg your pardon. And my brain's just switched off.
Happens to me all the time, dude.
Fuck.
That's my brain on a day-to-day basis.
Me too.
Oh no, this is terrible. We're
You
recording.
can tell from watching this that we're pretty fucking stupid.
We're just here for a good time.
Oh fuck! Someone rescue me.
All right, petroleum jelly.
Oh no!
I don't know. All right.
No!
Oh my god! Oh, we need to cut that shit out. That's...
Oh, the space launch. You guys know the fun fact about this?
No.
Go on.
Elon Musk's first ever attempt at a space launch was in this movie. When he was in the womb, Elon Musk controlled his mother from inside of her belly, created her into an evil genius to then build the space station. Did it?
No, dude, you can't keep using the Elon Musk. You got to try to trick us in it without using Elon Musk.
I was just trying to help justice for
Quail.
Quarrel.
Oh God!
I
I'll tell you.
Mate, I had a brain fart. What you did was you had a stroke.
I.
I had a seizure like homeboy on the dance floor.
Oh my God, dude. So, I guess
Oh,
let's talk about the climax with the with Dr. No and the whole
Yes.
launch and everything.
That sounds
guys,
good.
I would before we do, I want to talk real quick about a few things about the what happened in the book, and there's also a scene in this I think fuck, that's where I was going. Where they're all dressed up.
I thought you haven't read the book.
I haven't, but I did research. Research, my son. Research. When they walk up the stairs, when
I give it a little slap.
We're
going crazy again. Sorry, Craig. Sorry.
I get distracted and you try to do it again. James Bond, where he's got that brown shirt on, you usually see it on like a Chinese gentleman. And he just, but yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, you mean the shirt that screams communism?
Yeah, but he looks good. He looks good in it. But James Bond just looks fly as fuck in all of his outfits.
I don't think is the fat Italian men.
I'll tell you what I was going to think about that later. When he's walking up the stairs and he stops and he looks at this painting, and it's called the Duke of Wellington. Right, that was a replica of a painting that was stolen in 1961.
No shit.
Oh yeah,
that's why Bond was focused on it.
He looks at it because
that's why he stopped at it, I guess. Then,
yeah, that was big news in the UK.
Wow.
So that's where my brain fart missed. So he's looking at it because when that came out, that was still news. It was found in 1965, so that was like a sort of topical thing. Even then. But yeah, from the book, the tarantula in the bed was called Rosie, so I'm guessing it was a Chilean Moe's tarantula, like my old one I've mentioned before. He was probably afraid of spiders, so there's that when you see his face and it's not actually when it's actually on him, there is a perspex sheet between him and the tarantula. In the book, that's a centipede. Now, and apparently, after that scene, he runs to the bathroom to throw up because he was that scared. And centipedes, right? I would, all the stuff I've said, I would not fuck with a centipede, not at all. They are just menaces. They are absolutely insane.
They're creepy. Like, they're actually terrifying. Like ccockroaches and like those big centipedes. Like they are.
No, centipedes are super fast. They're venomous. They've got massive.
Aren't they like super venomous too?
They some of it. I think the ones in Asia, like they can kill you. Like depends on like if you go into anaphylaxis. Some of them, but yeah, some of them can. If you're like older person, child, or if you're allergic to the actual venom. But yeah, so it was a centipede in the film. He actually, in the book, he goes and throws up. Mr. No, you big boy. How he dies in this film, he gets boiled alive in the water. In the book, he gets crushed by I don't know how. I didn't manage to find out how. A load of bird poop, so I'm guessing guano, falls on him and kills him.
Guano is bat poop.
That's bat poop.
Well, that's bat poop. Yeah. Okay, I've heard guano.
I'm a zoologist. My dad was a marine zoologist.
I've also heard bird.
I'm a Jim Carreyologist. Guano.
Chicago. No, but bird poop falls on him. That's how he dies in the book.
That's insane.
There is a fight between James Bond and a giant squid in the book.
I need to read this book.
And it's also in the book.
And James Bond wins? Fuck off.
Before it tears his flesh off or whatever, yeah.
Fucking Legolas in Fellowship.
When your girl... when your girl is tied up, and it looks like she's going to be drowned by this drain
Yeah,
pipe.
yeah. Is that they got her strapped down in that like ramp thing or whatever? Yeah.
Okay, there's a deleted scene. There's only screenshots of it, but he covers her in crabs. So when they pinch, like they're all pinching her, he wants to see the height of how much the human body can endure pain.
Oh.
But when they put the crabs on her, the crabs were just doing nothing. So they weren't even moving, so they couldn't even like make it look, put sound effects in to make it look like that. But that's why she was pinned down on the floor like that. But so they filmed it, and apparently it was just put on the cutting room floor.
That's an interesting one with the crabs in particular, because
you see a few crabs a few times.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like if they actually tried to do the scene, because I'm thinking of I believe I could be wrong about this, but I think in the I'm thinking Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know when he falls into the thing with all the snakes.
It's got perspex.
And yeah, I believe like 90% of the snakes in there are fake.
Really?
But they are what you call it?
Non-venomous.
Right, but I think like 90% of the snakes in there are fake. They're just like remote controlled things, but there are like 10% of them are real or something like that. At least I think. I'd have to go back
the ones
look at the making of the movie for a second though, but I'm pretty sure the majority of them are not real. But they do throw some real ones in there.
Coming from me, the ones that they focus on, they are real.
Oh yeah, definitely. The close-up, for sure.
So he's got the cobra, but they put same thing. They put perspex thing in front of him with the cobra, so the cobra hoods up.
Cobras are so fucking cool, and I hate snakes. I love cobras.
They are super aggressive, mostly, but no, they are.
I only
cool.
know them to dance with the Indians.
Well, they're just following the float. That's all they're doing. They
follow
movement.
It looks like they're tracking it.
Yeah, they just follow movement. It's so when you see there's a guy in Florida that I follow on YouTube, and when he's dealing with his king, he's got a 14-foot king cobra, and he does that with his hand.
14 foot, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They can get to like 18 foot, man.
Wow.
They're fucking.
And then
big
then you bring in one mongoose, and that thing's life is over.
Yeah. Oh no.
The
mongoose ain't taking out a king cobra.
But what is that? They're not affected by the cobra's venom, right?
No, they just can't hit.
They're not immune to it. They're not immune to it.
They can't get hit. They're too fast.
No, they can get bitten, but they have to sleep it off. The proteins aren't meant for their physiology.
Wow.
So, sorry, this is real tangent. The huntsman spider in
I hate those things in Australia. They look horrifying.
Yeah. So their venom works on primates. So that will work on, like, if it bites a dog will live. But if it bites a human or a monkey, we're fucked.
Huntsman spiders? They're not harm. I thought that they were harmless against humans.
No, I'm sure it's a huntsman.
Interesting, because they're so common out there.
They are.
I'm going with Craig's superior knowledge of the exotic, animals in the world.
Yeah, if it's not the
they're not. Huntsman spiders are generally not dangerous to humans, though their bite can be painful. They're not aggressive, and they typically try to. Craig's right on the money. Pain and swelling, itchiness or redness on the bite, inflammation, nausea, headaches, minor skin irritation, but not death. Serious allergic reaction is possible, but it's just.
So I have a question though. So Craig, what was the spider?
I might be getting the brief wrong, but yeah, go on, mate.
What was the spider in the movie?
The spider was called. Actual spider was called, but obviously it's a prop animal, actor animal, whatever you want to fucking call it. Right. It was called Rosie. I'm guessing it was a Chilean rose, which is what I used to have. Didn't look like one, but because Rosie, Chilean rose, it was a tarantula. So
right, that's what I was thinking.
It was a tarantula.
But can those kind of tarantulas like kill you if it bites you?
It's the same thing. If you're allergic, yeah. But I had a Chilean rose. If I got bit, the bite would be worse than the actual venom. It would be like a couple of bee stings.
Okay. That's, dude. You're crazy for keeping those things.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
like
it's
if one got out, we had a snake got loose in our house, and we thought that it escaped because we couldn't find it anywhere. It was just a
So you
corn
had-
snake
you had a
that my
pet
wife
snake?
caught. Yeah, I've also had a yellow belly ball python. She was gorgeous. She was about 4 feet in length. She would have gotten another foot if we had kept her longer. But then my wife surprised me one day after I told her let's not get the snake that someone was trying to give to us. She was like, okay. I come home from work, there's a snake in our house, and a couple months later, Mr. Houdini, her name was Lo Mein Noodle, escaped. We couldn't find her. We assumed that she had just escaped the house. About 3 months go by. Me and Christina had a few drinks. I'm laying down in bed. I hear a scream from the living room. Lo Mein Noodle is just slithering across our floor. I don't know what she had been eating or what, but she was alive, a lot skinnier than before. But it was Lo Mein. She still had the same little markings on her. And for 3 months, she was loose in our house.
Yep. Totally believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drogo, my 8-foot python, used to escape on the regular. He'd nick off for like 8 days.
Jesus Christ.
It was always 8 days, and like at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd be going out to a kitchen to get some water or something, and like there he is, just making his way back into his bloody.
They're
exactly
little fucking Houdinis, man.
They really are. They really are.
Yeah.
But anyway,
pushing
so,
even further that I will never get a fucking steak.
You should get a snake. You practically
Hell
have one
no.
behind you. It just lives in water.
Yeah, so it would never dream of escaping.
Its name starts with fire. And you're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but they don't eat like mice. It's
Yeah.
just a block of bloodworms that it eats. It's,
that's so much better.
Yeah, a block of bloodworms.
Yeah,
That statement.
I'll just keep some
how
bloodworms
casually
in the
you
house.
Just said that. Yeah, I just feed him a block of bloodworms and he's good. Like that's a crazy statement to say casually.
oh, and a mouse isn't something
No.
that's actually walking around and moving
No.
around
Well, I
It's
fed
dead
mine
and
live.
frozen.
instead
No,
of
I
a
live
frozen
fed-
block
I
of
live- I live
a
fed mine.
collection of worms that are maybe like this big.
Fair.
That
I
are
live
already
fed my
fucking
ball
dead.
python, but our corn snake, we just gave Pinky.
You
right
guys
away.
are crazy.
We,
You guys are absolutely crazy. Oh my God.
It's till I feed in the UK. I think it's illegal, and I don't do it. It's cool. You
It's-
can only buy frozen, and you thaw them.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. You can buy
Anyway,
live here. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were talking about Dr. No, weren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of
Yeah.
we're at the climax now.
We're pretty much, yeah. I just want to
Yeah,
come to the climax before we wrap it up. So
He gets himself one of the radiation suits after escaping his cell.
before
Like,
when he escapes his cell, did you notice that like he electrocuted himself a little bit on that fucking vent?
Did he?
Yeah, it's
didn't
remember he
notice
tries to
that.
go up. He goes up there, and then it like an explosion happens, and he gets knocked back to
Oh,
the ground.
does
But
he
then
jump up
he
and kick it?
smashes through it.
he puts his shoes on his hand, and then bangs
The rubber.
in the thing.
Smart.
Yeah, but here's the thing though: when he climbs through it, the thing is, I don't know if that knocks out the power to it or anything. But as he's crawling through the vent, that vent is like that's hanging off. The metal part is still touching him like all the time.
disconnect the circuit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's
still smart that they added
there's a
in,
bunch
the
of stuff
rubber
like that in
shoes.
this movie where you're like, it's an older movie. You got to forgive
Yeah.
it. I guess I don't know, but no. Once he goes through there and
rubbers
gets
and
to the room where everybody's at their stations trying to mess up these rockets in Cape Canaveral, I
there's
actually
just
thought it was
signs everywhere for each station.
yeah.
And they're on like they're not just like above the thing, they're hanging down on like metal chains. And it's just like,
Yeah, I thought it was so funny when he like grabs. He's trying to like blend in, so he grabs like a folder full of like papers, and then he walks up. He walks over behind. So Dr. No is sitting there in a chair with flanked by two other guys, and they're sitting in a station. And James Bond just walks up behind them and just like stands behind them, like not doing anything. And after like
casually.
30 seconds, Dr. No turns around and is like, Hey, why aren't you at your station? Get over there now. I want you to run. It was actually really funny.
And he sends him up to the actual place he needs to be as well.
Yeah.
So it says above it, danger level. But
the thing is, he's got a square opening in his face. You can see who he is.
No,
he should have turned around and be like, "Hey, Mr. Bond, how did you get in here?"
It was eyes up. Wasn't it like from like nose up?
It didn't really look eyes up to me, but
oh shit.
But Dr. No and his two accomplices, they've got like this bloody clear plastic like fishbowl thing going on. They look like Mr. Freeze from bloody Batman. The animated cartoon, they've got that going on their head.
This
Everyone
whole
else
sequence,
is completely covered.
This whole sequence again, I'm just thinking of Austin Powers, man.
Real tapes everywhere as well. Every button's got a bloody coloured LED underneath it. So it's like a blue, yellow, green, or orange.
You gotta get the evil scientist laboratory shit, you know.
It's. Do you know that's probably the genesis of it. I can't think of anything that would have been before 62.
In terms of,
but then he goes up,
sure.
And then right at the last second, because it's showing the black and white footage of the thing from Cape Canaveral, the Mercury rocket, whatever it is. And then you see this tiny, it looks like a tiny little antennae dish come out, like the satellite dish cable.
Out of that buoy or whatever it is. Yeah.
So he turns it all the way up, so it goes to danger level. The danger level goes off the chest. He just starts punching people, and the punch sounds in this film as well. The whole
epic.
And there's nothing over dramatized. There's no like 15 body shots and 12 concussion shots. It's just like, and you're down. That's it. You're gone.
I don't know, man. He just starts punching people out, and everybody just starts like running out of the room. Nobody's like, "Hey, somebody stop that madman!"
Well, he gets the mic.
Of them are scientists as opposed to like warriors. Like everyone who and is in that room is just like a scientist. Except
like
for
half of them are Asian.
Next to James Bond.
Like
the one guy who's next to James Bond while he's up there was like actually fought back, but then everyone else is just apparently defenseless.
Yeah.
How many Asian people did you see on this
I
island?
couldn't see. They were all wearing fucking hazmat.
Oh no!
There was a lot.
The staff, some of the guards who take them to their bloody.
There was a lot.
Oh yeah. A hell of a lot for Jamaica. I'm going to guess it's a hell of a lot of people. You don't usually see that. The whole place starts blowing up. They manage to run. James goes and grabs a girl and says, "Where is she? Take me to her." Frees her after punching his way through to release Ursula Andrews. They then run off, get down to a boat where there's two guys on it. So James gets on it, just fucking knocks them off, knocks them out, buggers off. They're in the middle of absolute nowhere in the sea. And then all of a sudden, Felix Leiter, and they've got nothing that's going to be radio communicating to them. This is where we are. Pick us up. This is 1962. And all of a sudden, Felix Leiter and the rest of his CIA.
Wouldn't there be a radio on the boat?
Say again.
Wouldn't there be a radio on the boat?
No, because they stole that off someone else. It was one of the boats as they're escaping.
Yeah.
There was.
There's not a radio in every single boat.
No.
Out there.
And these boats.
All you need to get it to move is a motor. Sometimes you don't even know that. You just need a fucking oar.
Yeah.
It's true. Like Miss Honey that outruns a diesel boat.
Well, she had a sail. She does say she had a sail on. So
what do you think stronger, the wind or fucking 750 Yamahas on the back of your boat?
Well, how strong's the wind been around your parts recently?
Not that strong.
But
still the past week.
Well,
I'll say one thing for this movie.
It was a film last week.
I'll say one thing for this movie because a lot of the James Bond tropes and stuff are not institutionalized yet, but one that is that we got a villain who has a physical ailment,
physical deformity,
and he had an exotic death.
Yeah.
He got boiled alive in the radioactive water.
And then he comes back as the Joker in the next movie, right?
No.
Honestly, that is. I was looking up the actual physics of that, and then some physicists just went, "Well, that wouldn't happen." Just like he's got a swimming pool with this block of ore in the swimming pool. It's like, no.
Yeah,
No.
I thought a lot of the stuff in this movie wouldn't happen. You gotta forgive it though, man. It's 1962.
1962, and it did something. It
And
did
it's-
something really cool. It
it's
started a
Atomic-
franchise that has grossed, I'm sure, billions of dollars. at
Oh
this point.
God, yes, yeah.
Video games alone,
And that's pretty
probably.
much it. Other than, I mean, well, you know, they're making out in the thing and getting pulled
Then
by,
he-
and then he
Then
By
he-
Felix.
undoes the.
He just decides to
rope,
let
which-
it go.
Yeah,
And then that's
Nice
where he
touch
did
there.
the act on her.
yeah,
Yeah. And then we get closing screen, man. But
Yep.
yeah, it was and refreshing. Yeah, as just to obviously it's older, but just because it's so not what we're used to. Yeah, absolutely refreshing. Breath of fresh air, man. Really was. Really enjoyed watching it.
Me too.
God, I haven't watched. I remember. I know I was saying it 'cause I remember the spider scene because I've always been a weirdo about exotic animals. I remember that and thinking, oh, that was pretty shitty. But I know I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in so long. Breath of fresh air, the outfit, the hair, the decor of everything. It just looks so stylized and all the time. Fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
While you're at
Not
it, give us a rating for it.
Not the best film I've ever seen. I'll give it a solid 7. It's not the best film I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it. If I'm looking at it through 1962 eyes, it would be much higher, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or
That's what I
even
feel, too.
if it's just higher, it would just be a more strong opinion of it. Even if it was like an 8, it would be a much stronger opinion. But watching it now, damn it, it's a good, solid 7. Would I recommend? Well, would I recommend it? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. I guess I'll go next.
Run it up.
I think I gotta agree with you, Craig. I'm giving it a 7, and I think you pretty much took the words out of my mouth there in terms of if it was 1962 when I saw this, it'd probably be higher. But for the time, it was, and there's a reason why it spawned a franchise that's still going to this day. I really like the aspects of it that I think are missing in James Bond today, like a slower pace, much more, you know, I guess creative dialogue that's in there, and a lot more investigating instead of, you know, he goes somewhere and then a guy comes out and tries to kill him and it's a minute and a half action sequence kind of thing. I like it where it's actually thought out. Quentin, you actually highlighted that when he was in the girl's home in the mountains before the guy got there and he was setting things up and stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
It takes its time. The first hour in particular, I really, really liked.
Yeah.
And it takes its time. It's not, let's rush into the next thing and make things look cool so we can blow stuff up or have a crazy action sequence or anything.
No
So I
Michael
thought-
Bay in this movie.
No. Thank God.
I think it benefits from being older as well, so it doesn't have all the modern tropes of modern technology. It's what did they have to deal with there?
100%.
Yeah, you're probably right. The stuff that's bad is a lot of it just has to do with it's 1962 again, so it works against it too. Like the terrible, you know, when he's the close-ups of him driving with the
When he's got
big
when he's got the green screen.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, or
But you know what? That to me that adds to the charm because I know it's that. I know all the films did that though.
Takes you out of it though.
they did.
Except for
But-
Daniel Craig's.
No, we're talking about back then.
Yeah.
Back then, all the films did that. Yeah, so stuff like that is just pretty ridiculous. It still is, and it really shows the film's age. And
But it's counted by the
a lot of it's forgivable though, and it's I had a blast watching this, and I'm giving it a solid 7 as well. So, and of course, Sean Connery is James Bond. I mean, you gotta love that, right?
Fire.
You gotta love that. I
There's
mean,
a slap on the ass,
he's
mate.
great. He's absolutely great. The villain was great too.
Freebie, that's what you want.
Quentin has kind of talked me into not liking Ursula Andress as much because it's more of her like character, though. You know, not the Honey Rider. But
She just needs a little.
as far as it to look at, though, you know, love it. But anyway, I'm very curious to hear what Quentin's rating is. So hit us.
I'm gonna give this an 8.5, dude. I had a blast.
Oh,
so
wow.
much so. I talked a little bit about it. I guess I'll just get into why I love this film so much. Piggybacking off, I think what both you guys said, but just the way it took its time, specifically in this first hour of the movie, it felt like a detective movie. We don't really get that enough nowadays. And it kind of going more so off of what Craig said as well. There's so much CGI and bullshit that can be implemented into new movies. So much technology that I feel like filmmaking nowadays, they're like, oh, we have to use this. We have a budget to do this, so we should do this. There was none of that here. This wasn't a huge action-packed movie where every 2 seconds you needed a fight. You know, it had the romance. You had the cool protagonist who was just there. He was doing his shit. He was a confident guy until a spider came around. Then he kind of shits himself a little bit. But I loved his overall style, how Sean Connery was able to take this character and be like, he's going to be cool. He doesn't have to think about much. Like, he just knows what he's going to do, and he does it. That confidence in a lead role fucking makes what James Bond is, and it's set the precedence for what all the future James Bond should be. When you think James Bond, you think cool, just crazy smart, confident, gets the lady. And this guy started it all, man. This movie did. So huge win for the spy community. I don't think that there would be spy movies if it wasn't for James Bond. We've gotten some dimes out of there because of it. This movie was killer. The slow pace of it all really was just awesome. For me, it fell short on the kind of end parts of it. I could have dealt with, like, I guess it needed that climax. Every movie does. But I just felt like things were a little bit rushed at the end. Not actually, no, because when he's going through that vent scene, that was still like a 10-minute scene, and it shows him carefully going through the vent. You know, when he uses the rubber on his hands to not get shocked, when he's wrapping his stuff up so he doesn't get burned or whatever he did there, or no, just to hold on to the thing so the water didn't wash him away. They thought about so much shit when they made this film. I think that the few things that got past them and kind of like an oopsie moment is just subject to 1962. And I can live with that and still enjoy this movie so much to the point where I'm probably going to watch all the other Sean Connery Bond films this week. A lot of fun, 8.5. I don't got much to complain about besides, honey. So.
Wait, hold on, Craig. I got to ask him this. Did her character bring the rating down?
Yes, drastically. I fucking hated her. I really did not like her. When she was getting taken away, I hoped that she died. It was like Carl from The Walking Dead.
Oh my God!
It was like Carl
Craig,
from
you
The
just
Walking
made Craig
Dead.
rage quit.
It's like Carl from The Walking Dead, where every scene that he's in, you're just waiting for him to die. You're like begging for it. I hated her character. I could have watched Coral and Bond go through this whole movie and just have. Like,
so you like the first two girls?
Oh God, yeah.
Way
Sweet
more
and
than
simple,
you like.
baby. Sweet and simple. You know.
Oh man.
Too much baggage with her.
First girl was very cute as well. Like they cast very.
Oh my God! I can't
good
believe we didn't talk about the introduction to Sean Connery as
Oh
James
no!
Bond.
Yes, we didn't at the table.
I cannot believe, because it is the best Bond, James Bond of all time. The very first one, and it's the best. And think of this: he's a James Bond that smokes cigarettes.
Yeah, I was going to say my cigs are in the other room and going out.
Oh, and he says the line while he has it in his mouth, and it's moving up and down. Bond.
Yeah,
James Bond.
It's iconic.
So iconic. Yeah. I can't believe we skipped that. We need to delete this whole review now.
Edit this part in to the start of the podcast.
Just that bit where we both go Bond. James Bond, that's the star.
Yeah, man.
What do you got for Muppet rating, guys?
Oh,
Ooh. It's pretty high for me.
It's high up, bro.
It's pretty high for me. I dare say, like, almost the highest it can go. I tell you what, I'll give it, because the stuff that's good kind of brings it down. So I give it I'll give it an 8. 8
That's
out of
where
10.
I'm at. That's where I'm at.
yeah, I think I am too. I mean, the fact that Quarrel sort of becomes an indentured servant, considering he's very opposed to him at the start, but then he's kind of his lapdog.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, Captain, what do you think of that?" And you can't hear anything or say anything. And then, like 10 seconds later, the boat comes around the corner. It's like,
Yeah.
but the first thing he does is go, Captain, what do you think? It's,
Well, at
there's a
that
bit of
point,
that
you realize you're with a fucking spy from British intelligence.
From MI6,
like,
baby.
Oh, yeah, you're the boss. Let's go.
and also the way they speak to everyone speaks to each other. It's so quick and short, and when he gets to, oh, by the way, that came, they've had this big long conversation. I want the files from Dr. No. Give me the files from Dr. No. And then she comes, we can't find them, sir. And then he just goes, oh, by the way, that came from you in the British intelligence slot today. Go, package from home. Oh, can I go through there? Yes. He goes through.
Yeah.
And then there's this woman. And that's a cheeky habit, listening through keyholes. I wasn't listening. I was looking for the files. And just within 10 seconds, he secured himself a date for that afternoon.
Yeah.
It's so short and to the point. It seems like that was taken out of the book. Like that would be what's written in the book, and they just sort of copied and pasted it into the script. So in the book, they've probably given it more substance in the set, the background setup, and James Bond did this, and then he's, but he just comes out the door in 10 seconds. 10 seconds, he's getting laid for that afternoon.
I'm not even thinking of that stuff. I'm thinking of those, in the beginning where we were talking about those strange cuts that look like accidents that they just left in the movie, and stuff like that. It was or the what Craig thought was the bright orange blood.
The bright orange, yeah. To me, it looks orange.
Yeah, well, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. Because it looked really bright. Yeah, it was definitely not the correct color you should use.
I think if she died, she should have bled a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, stuff like that, and the driving in front of the big ass screen.
That's goofy. The Muppet rating's high there.
It wasn't just that he was driving in front of the screen. It was they kept the camera on him in front of that screen for 15 straight seconds at one point.
So you had to watch
the wheels going one way, the vehicle's turning another. It's it was bad.
Here's one for you. When they the two guys try to take Bond out when he goes into the hotel, so it's at night. So Bond's come up to the hotel, and it's when the car goes past and they misfire. The first guy who comes out is in Jamaica. There's no street lights. It's pitch black. You can see, all the stars and bloody the Andromeda galaxy. First guy comes out. He's got bloody shades on. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And speaking of that, the three blind mice, when they die, that sequence when they finally go off the cliff, there was some very strange cuts in that, quick cuts in that.
I'm gonna have to watch that part back.
It was.
The worst acting, possibly the worst acting I've ever seen. Where that happens, so James goes on. There's the crane that's blocking the road.
Yeah, that's
James
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then James is looking down on it, and this bloody Jamaican construction worker comes up. What happened? I think they were going to a funeral.
Yeah,
because it was theirs. And then the guy's just doesn't know what to do with himself. I think
good answer, Mr. Bond.
Yes, they just picked the closest local they could and go.
So that was actually something that they started, was those cheesy lines after a kill.
Oh, the one-liners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a trope, and that is you know what? That it's an endearing part of Bond. Just having
It
those
is.
one-liners.
Even the bad. I love the bad ones too.
Yeah,
It's-
they still work.
This is
you know what my
Sean Connery
you know what my
talking.
favorite one is?
Go
My
on.
favorite one is from Goldfinger when he throws the fucking thing in the tub with the guy, the hair thing or whatever, and it electrocutes him.
Don't
And then
spoil it, you bastard.
and then he just sets he like adjusts himself and he goes, shocking.
Shocking.
It walks away.
Fucking spoiling bastard.
That's my favorite. Quinn, you won't know it until it happens.
All right,
You
good.
will not know it until
All I
it
heard was
happens.
a
Don't worry
bathtub
about
and a golden finger. Sounds kinky.
it. It was not a golden finger. So you're good, dude. All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap this up?
No, who do we got
No.
for the?
It felt good going
Bitcoin
back to
movie?
an old classic movie.
It really
Yeah,
did.
yeah. It was in that sense, it was a breath of fresh air, just mixing it up some.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I love to do.
I mean,
Who's
we're definitely strong on the boys' films, but this is a boys' club, so
yeah?
deal with
Who's next in the order here to pick a film?
Is it me?
Quintano. You said you had one in mind, right?
I do. I don't know how you're going to feel though.
Okay.
Talked a little bit about it earlier in the podcast. Neither one of you guys have seen it. It is very new. Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
I know you don't like
Okay.
horrors as much, but the cast of this movie alone should intrigue you. We have Willem Dafoe, the guy who plays Kick-Ass, Aaron Taylor, whatever his name is.
Johnson.
Yeah, Robert Eggers once again directing. You have Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu, Lily Rose
Nicholas
Depp.
Hoult.
This movie is a fucked up trip that makes you feel uncomfortable through and through. It's an interesting twist on a certain point in time. And if you want a little bit more of the craziness that you missed out in The Northman, that you wanted to explore a little bit more, I think that this is a good movie for it. So that would be my pick. So, yeah.
All right.
You could talk about it if you're not super fond of it, but it's one of the movies that
We'll
was
see. It's hard for me to like horror movies.
Yeah.
It's just not my genre,
right.
man. But I mean, I have been pleasantly surprised from horrors before. So yeah, that's what this is all about. What was I about to say? I just slipped my mind. Oh, I've heard Nosferatu is good.
It's good stuff.
There's some people have like raved about it. So
Yeah.
It's exceptional.
Craig, have you ever seen it before?
No.
Okay.
I've clicked it on, watched a little bit of it, but not watched it substantially.
Very recent too. It's not
Yeah,
like it just came out, but it came
Came
out
out
what,
on
like a couple months ago?
Came out on Boxing
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
Which
I own it, so I can also send it to you guys if you want to watch it in like, I don't know what quality we can get, but I do own it. So if you want to log into my thing, you can watch it on there.
Cool beans, man.
He doesn't mean it. We pay for our own movies at our own time.
Yes.
You're not allowed to. He's like announcing password sharing on a podcast. I'm sure everybody.
I think
does
you
it.
could do that. It's not Netflix or, it's good.
I know
Figure it
Netflix
out.
does not like that now.
No, they don't. No.
No, I'm actually thinking about getting rid of my Netflix just because
It's
they keep
shit, man.
they keep raising the fucking price, and it's like
Yeah.
I hardly watch anything on it. You know.
It feels like every 2 weeks.
I know. But anyway, that should wrap it up for us, unless anybody wants to touch on anything else.
From what was that last one? What was the last one we did? From Mortal Kombat to James Bond to Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting with us.
Watch
little bit
the
everywhere.
following week. We'll watch a romantic comedy or something. I don't know.
Let's watch 50 First Dates.
Oh, I know what we're watching.
Yeah, Craig's already got it picked.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. He even said it last time, but I can't remember which one he.
You say
What
Wedding
it was.
Crashers, I'll love you.
No, but that would.
That's a fucking gem.
I love that movie.
I'm gonna sadly disappoint you too. I'm sorry.
What is it? You want to share now or later?
He said it last week. I just can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. okay. For anyone who's stayed this long, after that we're going to do Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah. That's a good one.
got it. All right.
And watching this now with Alan Rickman, I'm going to just say, when you watch it, watch Alan Rickman. He makes this film. He is the reason to watch this film.
Sure.
He's
Yeah,
so
I've never actually watched this like beginning to end before. I've only watched it in like
no,
pieces.
that's A Knight's Tale. I always think The Knight's Tale when I fucking think of that.
Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner plays
Yeah,
Robin Hood, and
although A
does
Knight's
not even-
Tale, I love A Knight's Tale.
So
A Knight's Tale. A Knight's Tale is fantastic. It's got Alan Tudyk in.
Ledger.
It's got Mark Addy, your boy from Full Monty. That's one of his sidekicks as well.
Full Monty Python?
No, Full Monty.
I don't know what
Brian's
that
seen
is.
the Full Monty. He's the fat one who raps.
Yeah, Mark Addy, right? You're
yeah,
still
yeah,
talking
Mark
about Mark Addy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's in Nice Tale. But no, we're watching Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It's a Robin Hood film, not a comedy or anything.
Yeah.
So that's what we got. Nosferatu and
Yeah, Nosferatu
Robin
next
Hood.
week, and I will see you guys there. In the meantime,
Hopefully
let's
Brian
get
doesn't hate me.
hey, dude, if it's visual, and Robert Eggers in particular, even if he makes a movie where I'm like, dude, this is crazy, like Lighthouse,
Yeah.
it's still visually stunning, and
I've heard
appreciate
it's
that.
visually
Visually-
creepily gorgeous.
It
Yes.
made I haven't had a movie capture my brain and just be like all in so long. Anyway, all right, guys.
All right, we'll see you next time. Peace
Till
out.
next week.